if you thought the show was hockey annoying before, the way that Cody swaggered in here today, part swagger, part jiggle.
A lot of jiggle.
Oh, what a time. The whole hockey world is rooting for Connor McDavid. We should be rooting for Connor McDavid. All-time great story. Nope. Florida. Sunrise. Heat. Not the Miami Heat. It's just hot down here.
Yeah.
Oh, what a time. 6-1.
The world's been around for 1 billion years, and we happen to be alive at the time that we could watch that last night.
Yeah.
Speaking of it being hot at the moment, we're officially at the time of year, and it's about to get hotter, where I walk out of the house and my forearms immediately start sweating. That happens fast. I'm not even moving yet. There's such swampiness here. Do you understand how mad that makes Canada that they can't take the trophy out of the quicksand in the swamp?
It's that time of year where you park your car at your house and it's like, got to walk inside now.
Man, the walk from the parking lot to the arena entrance yesterday was not good.
Brutal.
Not good at all.
Well, this is a funny complaint because Sunrise is spread out. It's in the Everglades. It's basically a whole bunch of airboats and then just asphalt and the Stanley Cup. It's a weird place for it. I mean, it is super strange. I'm not kidding you when I'm saying you're closer to alligator wrestling than you are to the rest of civilization.
Sounds like nobody did 2-a-days in full pads.
Amen.
That's what it sounds like to me.
It's hotter than it's ever been. This is the worst it's ever been.
I can't imagine walking. Oh, you walked all the way from a car to a building? Oh, my gosh. Oh, let's rescue these guys. We should probably get them some motor scooters.
That arena.
That would help.
For people who don't understand, that arena, the parking lot is one place, and then the arena is the same way that the casinos in Vegas are right there. You can just walk to them if you're willing to walk what looks like 6 blocks, but is actually 3 miles.
How many tackles you got to make between there and the arena, though?
Depends on the ballet.
He's going to always have that card on us that he put a hand in the dirt, that his hotter was hotter than our hot because he played football.
Still got some grit under these nails.
How long are each of those practices? 2-a-days.
2 hours.
4 hours. That's one. You practice once.
I am not kidding you when I say I feel bad for the Miami Dolphins this time of year. I feel terrible. I don't know. I don't care how much they're paid to be in pads in this weather. Again, I leave the house before I get to the sidewalk. My forearms are sweating.
I'm talking trash. I did all my training camps were in Denver and Baltimore. And when I was president of Union, I was still an active player. And there was like something that took place in New Orleans. So I had to get on a flight and go to New Orleans. I went to New Orleans and got off the plane, and I almost retired on the spot. It was so damn thick down there. Mm-hmm. In July, it was just thick.
Cemetery hot.
I got off the plane, and it just felt like I was walking through soup. And I was like, and so I had to go talk to the team between 2-a-day practices. I think it was like the Bounty Gate thing was popping. And I had to go talk to them between practices. And I don't think anybody could hear anything because I assume that in those conditions, most of your organs shut down. And all the blood just goes to like your heart, your lungs, and your brain. So I don't think their ears.
When you say it's soup, are you saying like clam chowder? Because the other thing,
That's what I was imagining.
The other thing New Orleans does though is because the bodies are above ground, you also get the scent of death.
Lobster bisque is so good.
Oh.
It is so good.
Yeah, I think that's a better word. It felt like I stepped off the plane into a bisque.
Put it on the poll, Juju, please. Better soup, lobster bisque or clam chowder?
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You can't go out, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, not so tough. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
What is the best of the soups?
French onion.
French onion's a great nominee. I would think it a first ballot Hall of Famer, and it would be in any conversation on the soups. But we started with lobster bisque, and we started with clam chowder.
French onion is not a standalone soup.
Love where you're going with this.
No one, I think French onion, it comes along with a sandwich.
Makes me work too hard.
Yeah, give
onion.
me French onion, and I need something else. A clam chowder, though? A lobster bisque? That's a meal.
You're having a standalone soup as a meal ever? I don't think there's any soup that makes it as a whole meal. A soup's always a starter.
I don't like when a soup, I have to get my other hand involved. And that, you always have to break the cheese up and stuff. It's a difficult eat. I like the taste of it, but just overall, too much work for me.
I think it depends on the circumstances. I agree with you. Most of the time, it is a starter, but something about the creaminess of a bisque or a chowder feels more substantial. I feel like there's a different category. Like chicken noodle soup? Chicken noodle soup's a meal.
Well, I want to see. No, it's not a meal.
Yes, it is.
I'm willing to grant you.
When you have a cold.
It's not an entire meal. I'm willing to grant you, though, that this can be an entire meal, but it's based on thickness. Correct? There are three soups, and it's got to be thick, and the bready stuff and the French onion is what's making it qualify. Are we all in on the fact who's getting into the rankings if our gold, silver, and bronze medalists are clam chowder, lobster bisque, and French onion on the high-end thick soups, decadent soups that pass for a meal? Is there anything else? Is there a fourth option?
I feel like I think what comes to mind is a soup that I would like to be kicked out of the soup family. Gazpacho.
Yeah. Can't have a cold soup.
Nah, I know you call it a soup. I get it, but I don't know. That's cereal. I don't know what it is. It's cold.
Tomato soup, but the cold kind.
Yeah, the cold kind. But it feels thick. But I don't want it.
All right, I'm going to allow it as a poll question at Le Batard Show. Should gazpacho be kicked out of the soup family? But I was not aware. Does it qualify indeed as a soup? Because I think soups have to be warm. You cannot be a soup if you are not warm, by definition, in my mind.
Yeah, it does qualify.
We can put it on the poll, but I do believe that people consider gazpacho a soup.
I love how Roy's like, it does qualify, unfortunately.
Well, it is unfortunate.
It is very much
unfortunate. It is unfortunate because I'll put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does a soup have to be warm? And then put on the poll as well, is gazpacho a goddamn soup? Because I'm saying it's not. I'm saying you can't be cold in a soup, and he's right when he wants to kick it out of the soup family. I'm saying it shouldn't even be in the soup family. Why is it in the soup family? Zaslow seems happy. That's the best the Panthers can play, right? They cannot play better than that. Just suffocate, strangle Draisaitl and McDavid, and make my analysis hours earlier seem spectacularly loud wrong when I said with great conviction, we all know, right, that Edmonton is the one that can win a 6-1 game, not Florida.
Well, it is the best they can play, but it's also the worst that the Oilers can play. They were terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I thought it was a wacky game. I don't even know if I would call that the best the Panthers could play. So many power plays. The third period was just chaos. The second period was the only period that actually felt like a hockey game. That first period, Evander Kane, Roy, what is he doing? What a loser.
I mean, he's out there trying to hurt people. It's not like his performance in game one where his physicality made a difference. He was out there swinging his stick trying to hit people.
I feel like 80% of that third period, that happens to every team. When there's a blowout in a playoff game, it's going to get chippy. 20% of that was over the line, Roy. Are we going to look at any suspensions here?
No. There might be a fine for Walman's spraying of the water bottle across the bench.
What a loser move.
So wait, Ed, there was 1,000 fights, 800 late hits, and we're finding the guy who squirted the water bottle 3 feet to the other side and missed it.
He went across the line.
Yeah, can't do that.
Well, you with the made-up stat, 20%. Where are you coming up with? If that had happened during a basketball game, the news coverage for a month would have been how out of control the NBA is. If simply some of those fights.
But I'm telling you, when you get a game that gets to be 4-1, 5-1 in the playoffs, a lot of what you saw last night is going to happen with any two teams.
Chris,
you are going to get a team that is just needing what, Dominique?
You called it chippy. Like, that wasn't chippy. Unless you're talking about people chipping teeth. It wasn't chippy. Like, they were actually, there was blood. There was tongues out. There were fists being thrown. It wasn't chippy.
I swear that wasn't that uncommon in a blowout playoff game.
Okay,
I think you're
you
wrong.
got to be specific. A blowout playoff hockey game. Like, that is out of control.
There were a few
any other
cross
major
checks,
sport.
like the way Frederick went after Bennett. That was over the line. There were a few there were 3 or 4 things where I'm like, they should take a look at that. But outside of that, it was just blowout
I just want you to be clear that it's hockey, because like if this happened in soccer, if one punch was thrown in the MLS or in the NFL or in NBA, like, we can't call it chippy. Like, it feels like you are appreciating how violent that hockey match was, or a hockey game was, because that's not chippy.
This description of his is because what's been normalized is the barbaric savagery that is that sport this time of year. So Chris Cody feels comfortable, Cheeto crumbs on his hand, saying they should take a look at that when someone's hitting someone else with a stick.
I mean, Tkachuk got speared.
And Chris is like, sure is chippy. Can someone take a look at that? That looked chippy.
Yeah, and they aren't. I just asked Roy. He's like, maybe there'll be a fine. They aren't even going to take a look at it.
I was complaining about the walk in because I'm not tough enough to walk in from the parking lot. Take a look at that. It looks chippy down there. No, they hate each other. They're fighting for the cup, and hockey allows these people to be more primitive than any athletes roaming the earth and gives them blades on their feet.
Dan, how does anyone with a straight face, I mean, look, Dominique, you play in the NFL. How does anyone with a straight face watch what happened last night and then still try and say the Stanley Cup is not the hardest trophy to win in sports?
Well, what happened last night, it was a 6-1 blowout. So you're trying to argue to me that it's the hardest thing to win just because it's really chippy?
But like Matthew Tkachuk is saying after the game yesterday, we talked about this in the third period, you know, if you got to take a punch in the face, do whatever you got to do. There's a bigger picture here.
I mean, we're saying this after, I hope we get into this at some point, but Frank Ragnow fractured his throat.
That's right.
So you get out of here with that. Yes. I generally hate the people that, like, fall in love with their sport so much that they try to, like, argue that other people's sports are worse. Like, I'm not trying to say, like, football is so much better because I played football. Like, the people who say, this is our game, we got to protect our game. Like, I'm not that guy. I don't own any of this stuff. However, what I will not stand for is someone trying to tell me that there is something out there that is more dangerous. I'll give you equally, but there's nothing more dangerous. He is 300 pounds and someone fractured his throat.
Yeah, that USA Today story on how it is that Armstead retires early in football. Dominique allowed us to get away with this yesterday. He hadn't been here in a while, and so he allowed us to get away with saying that's the toughest trophy to win yesterday. Today, he's not having it.
Fractured his throat, and he never even played in the Super Bowl. Armstead tore up his knee in his 3rd year and said he never practiced again because he couldn't move his leg without painkillers. He only took painkillers on game day, and he played for, 13 years? Yeah. Fractured?
Yeah, his throat.
Fractured?
Yeah, his throat.
His throat.
Hey, yo.
I didn't know.
Thank you, Tony.
Did you know
I wanted
that,
to be respectful.
Did you know that could? Did you know that was a thing at Le Batard Show? Did you know you could fracture your throat? Because the most painful injury I had ever heard in sports before was a Mariners catcher on a foul tip who fractured his testicle. Ooh. I did not know a testicle could be fractured.
Worst thing to fracture.
I think it just ruptures, Dan. I don't think you can fracture it. I think it explodes on contact.
I understand. That's
oh, God.
Sort of what I thought as well. But no, you can indeed fracture a testicle.
Let's put it on the poll, I think.
Exploded worse or fractured worse?
I mean, honestly, this may come as a surprise to you guys, but whether it's exploded or fractured, I'd rather that down there than fracture my throat. I got 3 kids. I'm done. You can have one of them.
Yeah, but what if you had 0?
Not the kids, the testicle.
Put it on the poll. What's worse, fractured throat or fractured testicle? Because think about that one for a second. I think instantaneously you might go testicle, and then like you think about eating and breathing and stuff, and fractured throat seems terrible.
Yeah, I think if you fractured your throat, you'd be afraid that you're going to die. If you fracture your testicle, I'd be like, oh, this really hurts, but I'm not going to die.
I mean, do you want to live, though?
Do I want to try it? I don't know.
Dominique, so you're objecting officially to the idea, it's not consensus for you, that this is the hardest trophy to win in sports?
I mean, I don't care what is the hardest. I don't think it's the hardest. Like, we can go through a bunch of different sports and different things test you in different ways. However, I thought last night's game was incredibly fun and funny. And yeah, those guys, I'm not going to say hockey players aren't tough. They're tough as hell. But what I won't have happen is you guys try to subjugate other athletes and say, you know what? Like,
No one's saying football players aren't tough, though.
oh, no. I don't need your validation.
Okay, good.
I'll
I don't
subjugate
need it.
them.
Oh, he will over there. Take a look at that. You guys might want, it's getting chippy
Look,
down there.
Marshawn agreed with me. They talked to him after the game. He's like, look, in a blowout game, that third period, a lot of that stuff is gonna a lot of that stuff is gonna happen in a third period of a blowout playoff game.
I don't agree for a couple reasons. Number one, we didn't see that last year, and we went 7 games, all right? And it's the same team. And number two, how many times, and you could talk about this in the regular season too, are you getting a line fight? Not a line scrum. We had a line fight.
Nurse and Gadjo fought for like 4 minutes.
Well, chippy down there. They should take a look at that. Imagine a 4-minute fight in the NBA. Imagine just 4 minutes of fighting in the NBA. What we'd be doing in the coverage of that.
Wouldn't it
today.
be great if the Pacers get blown out tomorrow night and with like 3 minutes left of the game, all 5 guys, they all square off at different points of the court and they just fight?
Because it happened with Bennett, that altercation. So then what happens in those things is like everyone kind of just gets somebody. It's like, I'm going to grab somebody. And Nurse ended up with Gadjevich, and Nurse is like, I want no part of this. So he just, for 4 minutes, was just like trying to. I honestly felt bad for Nurse about 3 minutes into that. I'm like, just stop this already.
Was the entire fight time of the Malice in the Palace equal to 4 minutes? Or no?
It echoed for decades because Steven Jackson looked like that for 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
For 3 seconds, he looked like that. Never mind 3 and 4 minutes of fighting. It spilled into the stands, and the National Guard was called in.
Can you imagine if the hockey fights spilled into the stands?
That's happened a few times, but what we saw last night, I don't want to wander too far away in the noise and the fireworks and the silliness from, holy shit, the Panthers put it on Edmonton. Edmonton did play poorly, but that was also done to them. McDavid and Draisaitl don't look like that very often. Draisaitl actually looked like that an awful lot last postseason, which I think in retrospect we could say that he was hurt. But that was strangled out of Edmonton last night, and it was done a minute into the game. A minute into the game, the announcement is you're going to be trailing all night. You're going to be chasing this all night. And they can. Edmonton is good enough offensively, but when their power play does nothing, doesn't even produce reasonable chances, and then it turns into an all-out fight, and the Panthers are the only ones scoring, you get the best game the Panthers can play. They can't play better than that. Doing that to this team, both offensively and defensively in that game, there is no better game that the Panthers have played the last 3 seasons than that one.
Yeah, they have 2 games left to win, but honestly, it's looking like either Sam Bennett or Brad Marchand is going to win.
Let's cool it on the Conn Smythe talk. Again, 2 more games. Come on,
I
2
mean,
more games.
You got to look at how Sam Bennett is. He's leading the league right now.
I
goals
get
scored.
it. I get it. But 2 more games.
You know what? Thank you, Zaz, because Roy, I saw this happen this morning and it made me sad. Look, Dominique knows what I'm talking about.
What's going on there, Chuckles?
Dominique comes in here today and he sees Roy and he says to Roy, heartfelt and joyous, congratulations.
It's not over. He got mad at me. He looked me in the eye and said, it's not over.
Right, so I'm surprised that now he's trying to count Conn Smythe votes.
No, he's a media member. He's preparing. He has to think about all this stuff heading up to making these decisions.
He's mad Dworky has a vote and he doesn't.
Yeah, I am.
Is that true?
Well, it's my first year in the Professional Hockey Writers Association, and I got 1 vote this year, and that's
what?
for Masterton.
Which one is that?
That's the
I know
dedication to
that is.
hockey.
I didn't even
Tell
know what
Dominique-
that meant. Tell Dominique what that is.
That's dedication to hockey.
Doesn't sound like a big one.
I don't understand. All of us were like, you were very proud of that vote, and all of us are like, that's a nice vote. What vote is that?
It's dedication to hockey.
So how do you assess who's the most dedicated?
Well, it's not really It's not really a person who comes back from injury, like somebody who's retiring, like a Pat Maroon.
Who'd you vote for?
I love Roy, like, at the
Marc-Andre
arena,
Fleury.
seeing who gets there early. Lundell here early. Good. Like, keeping notes. It's like...
It wasn't. I didn't vote for him.
I don't like how he's disrespecting your vote back there.
I'm more disrespecting the award, like the dedication award.
Take a look at that over
They
there.
should take a look at that.
Why should they take a look at it, Chris?
Because there was we broke them mentally late in that game. As much as I'm saying a lot of that was expected, a lot of it wasn't. It was ridiculous.
And
My
to be fair,
my daughter was there. I was sitting next to my daughter.
I
was shielding her eyes.
Oh, because your daughter was there. Oh my gosh, we
was
shouldn't have a
shielding
line
her eyes.
brawl because your daughter's there.
I was shielding her eyes from that.
My daughter was there.
It made me like, huh. She's like, Daddy, why are they doing that? I'm like, because we've broken them mentally. That's why we're doing that, Graceland.
All right. Are you as uncomfortable as I am with him saying we've broken them mentally?
We, huh?
Oh, I was disgusted. And I mean, to be clear, what really hurt me about me congratulating Roy and Roy's response was I was congratulating Roy on the successful BET Awards last night, and Roy was like, we're not done yet. It is done. Kendrick got all the awards, Roy. Congratulations to you and me. We did it.
Yeah, we did do it. We did it.
We did do it.
The second America did it.
I think Zaslow could say we.
I feel like I could say
he's
we.
the only one who can.
About the BET Awards?
Actually, Chris can say we.
That's
No,
right.
Chris
no,
can't
yeah.
say
Have
we.
you seen? You haven't seen the reports.
He's a season ticket holder, so maybe he can.
Gingers.
That they did say that.
He could say we.
I'm gonna go ahead and stand up and say, nah. What? Nah. I revoked it. I don't know who started this.
Science. How about that?
I don't know who started it. Revoked. I also need to have a conversation because I've been skipping a lot of meetings. I haven't been participating in votes.
I've been there.
We let Jimmy Swims in or Teddy Swims? The Swims?
Teddy swims.
Oh, we let him in?
You let a couple guys in.
He was getting nominated for stuff. I thought we learned our lesson with Justin Timberlake. What are we doing? It takes more than a banger to get let in. I would like to register my disappointment. I don't know about Teddy Swims getting nominated. I don't know much about Teddy Swims. I got to be honest, because I called him Jimmy. But also, I don't know about this.
That's a fine, calling him Jimmy. Zaslow, the reason he gets credit and can say we is because he ended a family vacation early because his team needed him.
By a show of hands, anyone else end their vacation early for the Panthers? Anyone else end their vacation early because their team needed them? Anyone? Bueller?
Zaslow can say we.
Bueller reference.
I have heard in my ear set, by the way, I've been told that gazpacho is a cold soup only in summer and only in Spain. So it's a regional soup.
You ever been to Spain in the summer, Dan?
Where it's allowed. I have been, Tony. Swampy.
Sun.
Yes, it's very.
Europe in summer. What the are we doing?
That's
Sun.
right. That's right. That is correct, Tony. Yes, sun is the
No,
correct.
it's the sun.
It's very hot. Yes.
Not sun. It's
Yes.
the sun.
Venice smells bad. It's so hot. Yes. 20%, huh, Chris? 20% over norm for you last night on fights. 4-minute
All right,
fights.
maybe 30%.
Oh.
Maybe
Oh,
30.
wow.
There's never fights in the playoffs. They had a line fight last night, and Chris is trying to tell me, Chippy, happens.
Outside of that line fight, you do see in a blowout,
It's kind of a big thing, though.
like extra like cross checks.
Chris,
Like this does happen. Like I
Chris,
think a lot of people, like Dominique, swooping in for hockey playoffs last night was probably like, "Holy
No,
shit!"
no, but-
Where really it was like outside of that line fight, which is ridiculous. Yes,
Because I'm parachuting in, what I do know about hockey is that the first hockey games were played with frozen cow poop and they're fights.
Yeah.
So like that's only because it's the one thing, I guess also being on there are lots of other sports on ice. It's the only sport other than combat sports where combat is acceptable. So yes, I'm watching hockey last night, and for me, you're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh yeah, they out there hockeying.
Well, but this coverage by Chris is bad in that Kane had more penalty minutes in that game than he had in his previous 17 playoff games combined.
I know Kane.
what am I saying?
He was a dirty player last night. That's not normal. That kind of fight is not normal. You do not risk the ramifications. Look, we just got done with Brindamore telling his team the entire series, do not retaliate on the Panthers. It's stupid. It's how they beat you. Do not get emotional with them. It does not work. So that Brindamore has lost to them consecutively, and he was pleading with his team. Do not react. Do not retaliate. The Panthers do this. It's a style. It's a champion style. They don't care if you do not like them. They're annoying. They bother other teams. They bother other fan bases. They're dirty. They play on the line. They've got players who are unlikable, league-wide reputations as unlikable.
Who wouldn't like them?
And Marchand is sitting there while they're unraveling last night, pointing to his head and their bench, saying, there it is again. We're in there again. We beat you last year, and we're in there again.
Nico Mikkola pointed and laughed at Corey Perry. Pointed and laughed. What a loser.
Jonah Gadjevich over here skating with his tongue out like, ah.
Roy.
Yes?
What is your assessment? You're saying that Edmonton can't play that poorly. I'm saying that that's the best that the Panthers can play. You're also joyless and miserable when he says to you, congratulations, and your response is, it's not over yet.
It's not. They got 2 wins left.
You can't fool me. These guys, they don't know you like I know you. You have taken all your joy and you put it on your head. Today you were like, nah, I can't be happy, but I'm happy. And so subconsciously, when you walked to your closet today in your normal all black
It's a
attire,
happy hat.
you got the happiest hat
It's loud.
that you could find. So I'm happy for you, Roy. I'm sorry to put you out there, but I know that you're happy, even though that you tried to act like you're too tough.
I've got all his hats like in order of like from like the saddest hat to the brightest, and he just like, we're going over here today.
The only time you were happier was when that, what was it, 18 seconds goal was made and the Panthers were tied and going into overtime. That was the happiest you've been. That's the only time you were happy.
There's the smirk.
Again, I was in pain. It was a grimace.
Nope, not a grimace. A smile.
Again, let's focus on Rose, please, instead of Roy, because the Panthers very recently, and this is why this show's annoying, this is why this time of year, the last couple of years, the fan base aggressively turns on us, but also watches more hockey than they used to watch, and is a member of a very small group of people now rooting for the Panthers, because I do not believe that that is happening throughout the country. Now, every team says that every time, right? It's us against the world. Can you guys tell me a region, a country, a place? It's maybe Barkov's, maybe
Finland?
He's so big that there is a place that has embraced the Panthers.
I think Calgary's rooting for the Panthers.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Just from hate. Well, that's hate watching Edmonton.
They love Kachuk and they hate Edmonton.
But that's hate. But that's okay. That's rooting for the Panthers, but it's rooting for someone else to suffer. It's not even the same thing. I'm asking you, where are the people that Kachuk is not? They're not going to be allowed to be lovable underdogs. They're not even going to be allowed to be underdogs. Where are the people rooting for them?
No.
I don't know if people are rooting for them, but I do think they've gone above this like small market team. Like I think they've gotten the respect. Like hockey, you listen to other hockey podcasts, and it's not get these Panthers out of my life. It's more in awe of holy shit. This team is just their goalie's great. Their defense, they can play any style. It's more just you hear this respect for this team of like I can't believe this team has built this crazy successful unit,
which is hateable.
Right, but you don't.
So I
don't know
get
if we've
what you're
gotten
saying.
there yet.
No, I'm saying that I understand that there was a segment of hockey culture that's like this Florida team, we hate them, they're from Florida, this isn't hockey. But now it's like they're beating our golden boy, the one that's supposed to give us the right to say that we watched the greatest hockey player since Gretzky. You can't say it until he wins one. He's standing in the way. And every story, every hero's journey story that we've ever watched or read has been about one singular special person overcoming some evil demons around them. And you guys are the evil demons. I hate to tell you this. You're the zombies in the zombie movie. You are not Indiana Jones. You're not Han Solo. I don't know what else.
Harrison
Ford
Ford thing? Yeah,
There you go. I mean, I can't do anything modern. I'm old. What do you want me to do?
Those are some old references. This show has now gotten annoying, and here's Zaslow's face. This is Panther fandom right here, and it's bloated, and it's arrogant, and it's telling you after that game.
That's not bloated.
He looks thin.
Handsome.
With a sausage finger, a bratwurst in his left hand, he's pointing at you, and he's saying, that's how you play hockey. Look, we teach it down here in the Everglades. Edmonton, that's how you play hockey. It takes 7 months to get to the arena, and that's after you've parked in the parking lot. The walk is through the Everglades. It requires an airboat. That's where the Stanley Cup resides. You cannot take it from them because that's how you play hockey.
I need that picture back, man. We can't just let that sit up
You
there.
want to wallet size that?
No, I wallet size. I want a poster size of Humpty Dumpty's grandpa. I would love to have that photo. Oh,
Look at that.
How is the top bigger than the bottom?
Yes,
I'm shocked.
it is great.
Why is your chin up there?
Yes.
Confused.
Yes.
Beluga-esque.
Yes. Yes.
You whale face ass.
It is. You could put a narwhal horn on his forehead, and you would create the most impressive animal Dominique has ever been in awe of.
But we all learned one thing, though, last night. That's how you play hockey.
Yeah, that's how you play hockey. Yeah.
You do got a hockey fight ass head. Like that look like that thing could take a butt.
Beluga-esque is a great line.
The Panthers went up 5-1 last night after Aaron Ekblad scored. I get up off the couch in the Zaslow Mansion family room. I'm cheering. My 13-year-old looks at me and goes, sit down. They're up 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, your head does look like 5-1. I love it.
The biggest goal last night was Reinhardt, right? Like we're up 2-0. They get a goal early in that second period, and you're like, oh shit, we're back. Our feel good is gone. And then Reinhardt responds immediately with a goal.
Obviously huge, but did Sam Bennett have the greatest shift in the history of Panther hockey?
He absolutely did. Two hits.
2 monster hits. And on the same shift, how about this? It's about to be a 2-on-none breakaway, but we're so confident in Sam Bennett that Eetu Loisterinen passes the puck to Bennett and says, F it, you don't need me. And Bennett scores on the breakaway.
That's Lucy in a nutshell right there. Unselfish.
Good play at the blue line, too. He was the one that broke up that pass leading to the 2-0.
What size is your hat?
I mean, I get fitted hats.
It's
so
a flex
I don't
cap.
know.
It's a cop.
Yeah,
cap.
but he's right.
It's stretchy? Got some
stretchy.
Yeah, a little
spandex in
bit,
that
a
thing?
little bit.
You got a Lululemon
it's
hat.
a little bit.
Yeah, flex cap.
A little bit.
Dominique, I would like for you to stay generally with wherever your imagination and your curiosities take you on the discovery that Zaslow's head and surface area on his forehead is larger than we imagined because he's been hiding it for many years under a baseball cap. And now that it's been unveiled to point a finger at you and say that's how you play hockey, I love that as the face of South Florida sports telling Canada this is what happens to your golden boy when you get chippy and make Chris rain down from the arena. They should take a look at that.
30%.
Oh, man. Can we get that picture up again, man? I can't get enough of that picture. That picture is yelling at me. If you don't like it, you can leave.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
That
picture.
That's America.
It's saying America.
Yes.
And you said where my imagination takes me. I want to go where Zaz's imagination takes me. I feel like that imagination can take me around the world 4 times.
I'm with you on this. Now that I look at this, that's how you play hockey. And it's also exactly how you react by sending 2,000 National Guardsmen to California in order to protest immigration stuff.
That picture says, love it or leave it, asshole.
Yes. Yes. This country should be whiter.
That picture says, you get these guns out of my cold, dead hands.
That wins. That's going to be a champion right there. It might cost us democracy.
2 more games.
But that is something that if I were bringing it through central casting and telling people what's American arrogance right now, that's what it looks like.
I would definitely cast him as the one yelling something from the crowd. You're in a show and someone yells something offensive from the back. That guy.
This is a long way from yesterday when Rose was the reaction that we were loving, which is Rose's face horrified from any angle and every angle because she was so scared 17 seconds from winning game 2. That is, I mean, we can all agree, right? This is sheer terror.
I was right there with her.
And it wasn't but a few periods ago that's what it all felt like.
That's a shock telenovela face right there.
That is something that sports does that nothing else does. You care so much that you go and say, from there, I'm terrified, and from Chris Cody's perch, they should take a look at that. That violence down there that's making tough men bleed, that's normal playoff hockey.
I've got a dirty secret to say. I know Rose. Okay, I know Rose very well. Yes, she's a big Panthers fan, but you know what she loves even more than the Panthers?
Going home.
Going home early. So what she saw there was not only, oh no, the Panthers, they tied it up against the Oilers. The Oilers tied it up against the Panthers. Oh no, I've got 20 minutes of an intermission. I've got another 20 minutes of overtime. And then when that overtime stopped, I got another 20 minutes of overtime. And then another 20 minutes. And then they got to score. Ended up being another 2 hours for poor Rose, who just wants to go home. Because she only asked 11 times, when is this over?
Okay.
And that was on Saturday during the MMA hangout. And I told her, babe, you know exactly what it is. We got 1 o'clock in the morning. That's it.
You're still using babe, huh?
Yeah. That kind of thing.
I am concerned that you are accusing Rose of wanting game and not caring about the results and just wanting games to be over so that she can stop working. And Stugotz's last engagement on hockey was him not wanting it to go double overtime because he wanted to go to sleep. And I'm thinking this is not how Zaslow's experiencing any of this. I know it's not how Roy's experiencing it, but Zaslow, do you end up having trouble getting to sleep last night? Because I would imagine after game one, you would have
Game one was bad.
No,
yeah.
but I would imagine after game one, you would not sleep very well.
Correct.
And then after game two, you wouldn't sleep very well either because you're wired.
Well, I didn't go to sleep right away after game two. It's Friday night, so you get loose. You know my style. Come on. Game one, I had a hard time falling asleep. Game two, let's keep the party rolling, guys.
And then that one last night, you get to relax.
Woo! Last night.
Last night's one of those ones you just go home, digest all the post-game interviews.
Top night of my life.
Go ahead, Paul Maurice. Tell me how you liked 4 minutes in our second period. No matter how well we play, he's like, I really liked 3 minutes in our second period.
Oh, man. I want to show Dominique, please, our good AI work on making Zaslow a narwhal, the most impressive of all of the creatures. Dominique has spoken very highly of the narwhal being ahead of
Was that 3D?
of the octopus. Yes, our crack staff got to work immediately. I asked them to make a narwhal, and they did some aluminum foil party hat in the center of Zaslow's forehead.
Like I'm watching Muppets 3D right now.
Were the rest of you, though, taken aback as I was by the surface area that Dominique noticed at the time that he noticed it on the Zaslow forehead?
I believe that if you concentrate hard enough, you could tell us who's going to win this series. Just like I think
Professor X?
I think he got it. I think Cerebro over there, my Cerebro, just put both hands like this and go, touch your temples and squeeze. I think you can tell us who's going to win.
So, Chris Cody, you think it's normal for Matthew Tkachuk to be saying, we talked about it in the third, if you have to take a punch, take a punch. If you have to take a cross-check, take a cross-check, spear, slash in the face, whatever the case is, you've got to take it.
Yes. Like, if you listen to their post-game, like, a lot of the players were saying what I'm saying right now. That
I think
it got chippy. They needed to realize that this is a long series. Let's not do anything that's going to get us suspended. You have to defend your teammates. That's what that was.
So I think that in that world, maybe that's normal.
It's normalized violence, yes.
Right? But I think that what you're saying to us is as if we are in that world. We all recognize we're not in that world. And you are telling us, like, no, it's normal.
And it went beyond. Like, I'm not saying last night wasn't more than I would have expected, but I just think a lot of what we saw last night is just when a team is broken, down 2-1, they need to, if we're going to come back in this series, we got to show them that we're in this too. So they're just going to get aggressive. And we broke them mentally. Like,
yeah, but that's not what it felt like to me last night. Like, it didn't feel like the Oilers are saying, okay, we're going to show you we're still here. Like, to me, that it felt like a team was melting down.
That's true. It did.
All right.
There were a few times where I'm just like, we have broken them.
I'm not comfortable with how often you're saying that we broke them mentally.
We know only one person gets to say that in here. It's me.
There were 110 penalty minutes between the two teams in the final 9.5 minutes of the game. That's not normal, obviously. The more important thing I would say to you is it's the 13th playoff game in which McDavid and Draisaitl, neither one of them scores a point. And when that happens to the Oilers, they are 2-11. They are not a championship team. They are a bad team. If those two guys have the game they had last night, they lose 11 out of 13 times because that team relies. Roy's analysis, simplistic though it was before the series, is yes, they have the 2 best players, and the Panthers have the best team. The Panthers have 4 lines. The Panthers can get nothing from their first line in the first 2 games, and it doesn't even matter. It's an unusually deep team, and it flogs you, and you're supposed to get tired in the third. But through the first 2 games of this series, Edmonton was in a position that made it feel to all of Edmonton that there was no reason to fear anything here. And now the fear is here. It must be here. If you're Edmonton, you've seen that this can be done to your wonder kid.
Yeah, they definitely targeted Connor McDavid. They hit him 5 times, especially Aaron Ekblad, so they really put it to him.
Love that.
They listened to me. Remember I was saying, like, get in his way when he's going down.
Cut him off. It wasn't getting it. It's cut him off.
Ah, someone hit him.
Get your lines right.
Hey, that's what it was. It's
Not
always
getting
something.
his way.
Hit him. Stop him. And they
Take
did
a
it.
look at that.
They listened.
Love that fear. Feel it in my plume.
Wonderkin.
They're going to be great on Thursday, by the way.
For sure, Kind.
Yeah, okay, just checking.
The Oilers will be great on Thursday. Thursday will be scary. And if we win, obviously we're in a good spot. But this is not over. Like, Thursday is going to be Connor McDavid at his scariest.
Of course it's not over. We've got that. We know
Well,
that.
what? Now, first I say we. Now I'm
Okay,
showing
yes.
perspective.
Okay.
What do you want me to
Yes,
do here?
Yes, the silence was everywhere. The silence.
But Mike said it best. The press box has changed. I mean, seriously, get over yourself. We're going to talk during the post game. Tim Reynolds, enough. I mean, enough.
I mean,
seriously.
you just got to know when
You're
the
not
Dan
allowed to cheer in the press box. Did you know that?
Well,
That's
I
a
did.
cardinal
They were cheering
rule
for
in
Will
baseball.
Manso. I think that's allowed.
And Goldie.
If the Dan Le Batard Show comes to a hockey press box, hilarity is going to ensue.
Yeah.
They're going to yell at Will Manso for 7 minutes, and you're probably going to have to go to a
7
stairwell to
seconds.
write, man. It's
If it was 7 minutes, I'd get it.
It
was
is what
7
it is.
seconds.
Exactly. I mean, David, everyone else was saying hi. They were enjoying the show. They were laughing at us. But one guy is still clutching on to his newspaper deadline.
I'm a little
and it's
disappointed.
Tim Reynolds.
And is he your demographics too?
I don't know.
I happen to like Tim a lot, and
Enough of him.
I imagine this was going to be like E.J. Raddick or something, but that's just a bad look for Tim Reynolds.
Listen, I went up to him afterwards.
This was the best part. Stugotz
Yes.
is like, I've known Tim for years. I'm going to go fix this. He walked to Tim and walked right back very quickly.
Yep.
It was a very quick interaction.
Well, he was writing. Okay?
He's on deadline. It's
Enough of the deadline.
It's a
We're
work.
on deadline, too.
defend him.
We're on deadline. I gotta get home. I feel like playing off hockey. I gotta get home. I mean,
Yeah, we're on deadline too. We got to get that post game out.
It is a working press box. Tim Reynolds is a journalist who's trying to write, and Stugotz is back there. Hey, Will Manso!
that was Chris and Goldie. Don't leave out Goldie.
We're on deadline too. They're going to kick us out of that press box a lot sooner than they'll kick out Tim Reynolds, who's just typing away. That's just
Those writers had their game stories done before the end of the game.
precisely.
Yeah, a good writer, right?
Oh,
What happened there? I apologize to him. I've known Tim for decades. I mean, Cody was done. He was out of there. I mean, you know.
What was that interaction like, Stugotz? Take us behind the scenes. You walk up to him, you say what, he says what.
I said, Tim, I apologize. That's on me. I should know better. Not Chris, okay? I should know better. I've been in press boxes before. I know you have a deadline. I apologize. And he said, that's fine. Just, try to keep it down.
That is way too long.
That was
Way
much
too
longer
long.
than the actual
He's on
conversation.
deadline.
I always extend it a little
Can we
bit.
call,
I mean, you guys
can we
know that.
call Tim Reynolds and just ask him about what the
Don't,
interaction was
no,
like?
no.
Greg Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants, plant-based nutrients, and anti-inflammatory properties. But enough about this science. Bring back seeds because seeds are fun. Not to mention aesthetically and visually pleasing. Kids growing up today have sliced open a watermelon, have never sliced open a watermelon, and experienced the joy of seeing that juicy red flesh dotted with embedded black seeds. Nellie Doogie used to tell us if we swallowed a watermelon seed, a big melon would grow on our belly. It wasn't true. But as kids would make a competition out of seed spitting. You extracted the big seeds from the melon flesh. Tongue only, never fingers or a utensil, and you'd see who could project a seed the farthest. Every summer we did that. This was before video games, kids. Made our own games and toys. Flew a kite, kicked a can, spit a seed. Grapes were the real challenge because the seeds were so much smaller. We'd both pop a grape in our mouth, tongue moving, jaws in action, and whoever could spit out 3 seeds onto the table the fastest won. To this day, I carve real pumpkins and eschew the prefab foam and plastic fakes, mainly for the treasure trove of seeds inside. Hundreds and hundreds of them waiting to be scraped out, cleaned, and roasted in the oven to become delicious natural snacks. Respect, worship, and bring back the seeds. I need a t-shirt that says convenience is overrated. Insist to your local grocer that you'll take your watermelon seeded, please, and the grapes too. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
Yep. Journalism is dead.
But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay, it has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? Because the game has changed. Your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you, okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. You jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody every Tuesday, okay? And so you have ditched journalism a long, long time ago because why? Survival of the fittest, Dan. You have to change with the times. You have to roll with the changing environment, roll with the changing industry, and that's what you decided to do. That's what Stephen A. decided to do. And for Woj, for guys like him, the game has changed slightly, where he went out and he seeked reports, and he wanted to be the reporter. And you know what? If now he has morphed into a mouthpiece for the Blazers, I'm okay with it. I am good with it. I don't care.
Survival of the fattest.
Everyone, exactly. Everyone is selling out to make a buck.
What a terrible timing.
It was great.
Like that joke.
Hey, just give it up. You all want to be journalists. You're not journalists anymore. None of you. Not a one of you. Sorry.
You didn't even hear the joke.
I did. Survival of the fattest. It was great.
It just could have been done after Stugotz stopped talking, Dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoehorn that
But
in.
I'm okay. I'm okay
You're
with
splitting
it.
hairs.
Right.
Okay.
You adapt. You roll with things, man. That's it. You know, Dan, you started off, you know, if you're a driver, you drove a yellow cab and you were loyal to the yellow cab. You know what? But the game has changed to Uber, to Lyft, to private driving. And you know what? You have to ditch the yellow cab and you have to drive an Uber. Why? Because you'll make more money. Why? Because more people are taking Uber than the dirty yellow cabs. That's why. That's what you do. No one cares about journalism. You know what they care about? Laughing, being entertained. And you do a great job of that. And Stephen A. Smith does a great job of that. No one cares about journalism. People care about smiling. That's it.
You know, this morning I found myself while I was driving Claire to school. I told her, you ask a lot of questions. You should be a journalist. And now here in this conversation, I just, you know what? Don't be a journalist. Like,
exactly.
Do something else.
It's over.
Sad.
You're going to let Stugotz parent your daughter. You think that's a good idea?
You think journalism is a good occupation to choose now?
No, I would not. Listen, not only is it not a good occupation to choose, I have looked around Miami and realized we're the only ones providing the jobs we're presently providing. I heard local TV reporters are making $45,000 a year.
Huh.
I couldn't believe that's how bad local television is struggling, that's the place that has arrived. And I told Chris Cody not to get into this business at all because it's terrible.
But Stephen A. Smith is making more money than he's ever made in his entire life. He has more power. He has more of everything than he's ever had in his entire life. You want him to give that up because of journalism? Like, get out of here.
I believe you can do both. You're being very
How?
Absolute about this. First of all, he does. He does reporting, does journalism. He is very credible. When he gives information, it's not like Skip Bayless giving information. There is a difference. Skip Bayless also allegedly a journalist, but he's been contaminated by this thing and distorted by it in ways that are even more poisonous because he doesn't do any reporting anymore. Like, he doesn't talk to people in a way that's informed. Stephen A. actually goes to things, has relationships, and certainly when he's talking about basketball, if Stephen A. gives you information that's not opinion, you trust that it's informed.
No doubt, but every time he does that show, Dan, every single episode, his journalistic integrity, it shreds away. Little by little, piece by piece, it just does. He is doing a debate show debating the most ridiculous topics in the history of sports. Like, it has to affect your credibility.
Stugotz, it has happened.
And you sitting next to me does not help. I mean.
or my dad or Cody, because I said
Cody?
to myself, generations of Codys, because I did say to myself, this is one of the things I find funny about Stephen A. and thinking that he and I do the same thing, because once I got to PTI and it was argument television, I said I'd like to try to do it differently, but I guess that sounds highfalutin. I don't want to do debate shows.
The knuckleball is dead.
The knuckleballer is dead now, correct? Completely dead. There's no one. Is there anyone throwing the knuckleball now?
Someone has to be throwing.
Yeah. I would say Tim Wakefield was pretty
None of us
bad.
have one. We're just like, yeah.
No, there has to
There's
be.
got to be. Well, wait a minute. The knuckleballer didn't go extinct without anyone telling us.
As long as there's breath in my lungs, there's a knuckleballer out there.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. As long as there is breath in your lungs, will there be a knuckleballer out there?
There should be more, because if you notice, I mean, I don't have any stats to back this, but I don't care. I'm going with it regardless. I would say that the position players that are pitching have a much better ERA than average pitchers do, because they're all just going out there throwing the ball like 35 miles an hour, and the hitters are so confused that they just get under it, they pop up. Like, nary a run is scored off.
This episode is This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Nice rebound, Wah. Roy Wood Jr., I admire his hustle. I admire his humor. I admire his ambition most of all. He is now writing a book. He's written a book, and it's a great Father's Day gift, although I think you're going to have to put like a coupon in a card and pre-order it, because I don't know if you can physically get it in your hands in the next week. But he's got a new book he's written, The Man of Many Fathers. Roy, it's good to see you. Thank you for making the time. I did not think you had the time to be writing a book.
That's why it took 2 years to write, Dan. I did not know that a book would take that long. I thought it would be something quick and easy. I thought I would do it like other comedians, Dan, and just Make a book full of jokes that I never performed on TV and trick y'all asses into giving me $30. But as I started writing, I figured, well, you know what? Let me give a damn and actually tell some stories about men in my life that actually made a difference. You know, it's a story it's a book I want to inspire you, but also let you know you're not alone in having worked with somebody who was high on cocaine and they were better than you at the job.
I'm sorry for laughing, Roy. So, Roy, I know a lot about Roy's story. It's incredibly touching and interesting, and he's masking it with jokes. But I'm excited. I pre-ordered the book. I can't wait for it. Only thing better than seeing a Roy Wood show is texting with Roy, because all the jokes that he will not say on stage, I get every now and then, and they are outstanding. Oh, yeah, no, my only purpose is to let y'all know that Roy's my friend.
I mean, what are you doing?
Cool. Like, I don't give a damn about Roy. I don't give a damn about y'all. I would like the audience to know I got cool, famous friends.
Okay, but he's on the show right now. So do we. He's with us.
He don't like y'all, though.
What?
He here because you got a big audience. He don't really like
Mommy
y'all.
and Daddy are fighting. I gotta pick a side.
Are you here because you don't like us?
Whoa. I'm just joking.
I'm joking.
No. But no, my pops died when I was 16, and when I had my son, you start reflecting on all the lessons you got as a man from other men, and a lot of them did not come from my father. So as I started making a list of things I wanted to try and teach my kid, I start reflecting on what was instilled in me and where did I get that, and it came from a myriad of different people. And so I just wanted to kind of compose a lot of those different stories into one big thing. There's a great story in there that I don't think we even have time to get into now, but like the first time you stand up to a terrible boss and you choose your dignity over money, you know, like just moments like that, stories like that. So for me, it was Shoney's in Tallahassee. I don't know if you remember the great American restaurant, Shoney's, Dan. It was
Is
doing
it dead
well.
now? So it's gone? Shoney's? There are no more Shoney's
I
nowhere?
passed one on my way home from North Carolina.
Still kicking.
They're still kicking.
Yeah.
Shoney's is still kicking out there somewhere.
Let's. I don't know about kicking it. It's Shoney's is where single A baseball teams go to celebrate winning a 3-game series now, and I say that with respect. It's a fallen institution. When Applebee's and Red Lobster got cheaper, and they added a lot of more alcohol, it kind of kills Shoney's vibes. But my point is, if you got a supervisor you don't like, slap their ass in the face, and slap them, but make sure you don't need the job anymore. That's the important thing.
Okay, I think
That would be very important.
I think it's also a little bit reckless, though. You're now telling people to commit a crime. I think there's an assault involved with a slapping there. You want to be
metaphorical.
It's only a crime if they snitch, Dan. Like, why in this scenario did the person snitch? Maybe they cool to lose a fair one, you know?
I did not know. I don't know what you speak of. I assume that if you slap somebody in the face, that that's going to result in problems that nobody around here needs. But I think we've all wanted to do that, and somewhere, I was curious why it is you tackle writing. Funny is really hard. Obviously, you do it well, but you're tackling here subject matter also that I would think would make you emotional, would it not?
Very much so. And, you know, when you look back at the idea of parenting, the problem is that when you reflect on where you learn things, you have to reckon with the fact that there are a lot of things you never got from your father, even when he was living. And so reconciling that is difficult, because we're also, like all of us as parents as a whole, you want your kids to have a life that's better than the life that you had. So you want to work to provide that for your kids. While at the same time that I'm raising my son to have a better life, I'm reckoning with the fact that, well, I didn't have a dad like me. So in a way, you almost end up jealous of your own kid, but you're the reason that you're jealous of the kid. And so you constantly oscillate between being proud and happy that you're able to do these things, but also having a moment of reflection, and that you never got that moment. And your father's passed, so you don't get to ask those questions as to why. And I think that's the thing that's the most difficult, is that when you have a parent that's good dad, bad husband, if that makes sense, it's hard to be able to not look at how he made certain choices in his life and not want to go, yo, man, what was your problem? Why would you do that? and get an honest answer. And so I think accepting the fact that you'll never have all the answers to why your parents did the things that they did, I think that's one of the most toughest things that we have to swallow as adults and push forward and just try and be better versions of them.
So if you're offended by a boss getting slapped in the face, you're probably the boss that deserves to get slapped in the face. And also...
And would snitch.
And would snitch.
Yeah, would call the authorities immediately if anyone slapped me in the face.
And also, Roy, what is there one lesson that you learned or that you share in this book that you would make sure that anyone who buys this book walks away with?
For me, it's the idea of always knowing who you are and not allowing anyone to compromise that. And I think that's one of the first things that I believe the industry tries to ask of us. I believe it's one of the first things that significant others try to ask of us, if I'm being honest, because you can be with somebody and then that person may want you to conform and turn into something, that you aren't. I think that the idea of, I tell a story in the book about the time that I got booed at the Apollo Theater and the lessons that I learned from that. And a lot of that came from, I'm not going to say a pimp. Like, here's a sidebar question real quick. Let me just ask you as a black man. When you see a dude out on the curb, but he's not selling drugs, but you don't see any women, is he a pimp or a hustler or a drug dealer? Which occupation? Because I don't even think I gave this dude the right job title.
Well, it depends on whether he has on a panky ring or not.
Oh, no, he didn't have on a panky ring. He had on one of them super thick, all-leather Averex jackets.
Oh, that feels very hustler, drug dealer-like to me.
If he was a pimp, he's going through a lot of roster cuts, and he probably needs to make some free agent signings. I'll just say it that way.
In rebuilding mode?
Yeah, I think the biggest, but to answer the question, you can get lessons in life from anybody. And for me, having just got booed, I'm walking back to the hotel, in Elizabeth, New Jersey, which is pretty rough. And dude just comes up to me. I explained to him what's going on. He goes, man, I got shot 3 times. I'm still here. And he just walked off. And it was like such an insightful moment to have with just a random stranger. But the idea of knowing that you need to bounce back, that you can get back up off the ground, I think that's the biggest lesson that I feel like anybody can take away from this book. And, it's a great Father's Day gift that you won't get until the end of October when it comes out.
No, I mean, I think it's powerful. Learning from other people's experiences is really hard to do. As a father, I know, like, trying to teach my kids based on things that they haven't experienced. I'm so impressed when they can internalize it, even though they don't understand it, they haven't experienced it yet. But the biggest thing that I'm working on with my kids right now is taking responsibility. I don't need a story. You messed up. That's it.
How do you teach that, though? That's the thing, is that we come up in different struggles, like all three of us, right? All with respective super blue collar, middle class, lower class upbringings, just depending on what job your parents got that particular year. How do you teach that type of struggle when your life is different? I rode an airplane 3 times total before the age of 25. My son is Delta Sky Miles Gold Medallion. He's 9. Like, I remember telling him one night, I was like, if you keep this up, we're going to fly Spirit. And he cried. Oh, he cried. So I think those are the things that I struggle with, even with this book, man. Like, it's not like you're going to read 12 lessons and go, aha, I have all the keys. It's just, here's a couple of values that I learned from various people, some respected, some weird, some random street hustlers going through a rebuild on a corner in New Jersey. So, to me, I think that we just have to always realize that, I'm 46, I'm still learning about parenting. I'm still gathering knowledge from people, and sometimes from people younger than us too. I think that's also a mistake that we make at a certain age, is that we think because you ain't got as many gray hairs as me that you don't know anything, and that couldn't be any further from the truth.
I like envisioning your son at 9 years old walking to the front of the line of the lounge and just pushing his way through. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I'm here. Let me
You know
in.
my favorite thing to do now with my son, Fox? My favorite thing to do is give him his own boarding pass and let him board with the boarding group without me. And just let him cut in front of those Zone 3 ghettos. I'm Zone 2, you bitch. Get out the way. Because we're teaching him like how to assert himself and all that stuff. So one of the first things, especially as a New Yorker, you got to learn how to throw them bows and get through the crowd, man. Folks, no one's going to give it to you, man. You got to weave and bob. And, New York, you got to shove. You got to check somebody into the glass to get with your boarding group. So it's those little moments like that where I'm like, yeah, that's my boy. Then he can write a book.
The funny thing about that is what you're saying is like there's a balance and there's a time for everything. And I think oftentimes we want these firm rules to like always be like this, always be like that. Like there's a time to be assertive. There's a time to be deferential, and understanding that is something that you have to learn. I have a bunch of stories similar to that. On our way down to my family, we're down here for a little bit of a Miami vacation. And before we left, my wife was like, hey, go get your goggles, pack your goggles. My 12-year-old son was like, we'll just get some when we get there.
Oh.
With what money?
Entitlement.
I was like, what?
Entitlement.
no.
What? If you don't get your ass in the garage.
No, that's too late for that. It's too late for that. What do you mean? You don't get your ass in the garage. It's already there. If he's already grown up in a way that makes him expect to get the goggles when he gets there. Get your ass in your garage ain't going to correct that.
Find the goggles. They in the garage, man.
Put it on the poll, please. In New York, do you have to shove? Can you guys look up for me, please, the number of Shoney's that there are in America? Because I don't believe.
I know there's one in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Definitely one in Orlando. Definitely one in Orlando.
Okay, and it needs to never die. Shoney's and put that on the poll as well. Do we need to make sure that Shoney's never dies? But boot at the Apollo, though. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You don't have one that hurts more than that, do you?
Oh, it wasn't getting booed at the Apollo that hurt. It was what happened on radio the next day. I was doing mornings in Birmingham at the time. I get booed. Now, for context, you got to understand, nobody from Alabama gets on TV, ever. Before me, I think it was Ricky Smiley was like the only person. Like, this is pre-Ruben Studdard American Idol Birmingham talent pool, pre-Taylor Hicks and Bo Bice and all of that. Bro, I got booed. I'd go on the radio the next day after my episode airs like a week later. The day after it airs, somebody calls into the station and goes, yeah, tell Roy if that's the best he can do, he need to start telling people he from Montgomery. You ain't ripping the crib right. Click.
Oh, no.
That hurt because that person was looking forward to be doing well and representing. It's a lot of responsibility, man. When you from a place that don't get put on much, you supposed to represent. You got to over represent, and they're not representing that.
I mean, getting booed at the Apollo is kind of a rite of passage, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess, but the thing that they don't tell you about the Apollo is that it's rigged against you. First of all, they shoot 3 episodes in one night with the same crowd. So by the time you get on stage as a comedian, the audience has been there 2.5 hours. You're dealing with crowd fatigue. Number 2, the drinks are $3. At least they were in 2002 when I got booed. So you got 1,500 people in Harlem who've been drinking $3 well vodka for 2.5 hours. Yeah, they just booed a kid singing a gospel song, and then here comes me. Hey, y'all, I'm from Alabama. I surely, y'all ain't got no Waffle House up here? And then you get booed, and then you go back down into this green room with all of the other amateur night acts that are all waiting to go up, and it's like if you could ever see somebody coming back from the electric chair, like after getting fried, I don't know if that makes sense. And half the room has survived, the other half is waiting to go. It's like walking the green mile. So there's so many things that you're up against. Like Apollo back in the day would have a music act every episode, like a major music act. So they would shoot all 3 of those acts. So I think the night that I taped, it was Ja Rule. I think Faith Evans came. Ja Rule did 2 songs for an episode. Faith Evans came out, did 2 songs for an episode. And then it was P. Diddy and the Family. They did like a whole medley, whatever. Like that was how the show started. And then you do all the Apollo kids. Then you do the real amateur. There was a man in my episode. I wish I could find the whole episode, bro. There was a man in my episode Showtime at the Apollo. He was a black guy in the 60s, roller skating melodically to Lou Rawls, and they didn't boo him. And I'm like, really? That's what we're letting across the... Look, I know this is a place for black talent, and we get to showcase the best of blackness, but what are you going to do with the roller skating to Lou Rawls? What is there a talent agent in the crowd? You got all the gifts, kid. What's your name? Mr. Stanley? Oh, Mr. Stanley, good to me. Yes, where does this go?
Sandman got to get out there on that one. You got to do your job, Sandy. You got to get out there.
Nah, it was also, they respected him because he looked like he was marching back in the day for our rights. I get why you didn't boo him, but it's just,
that's not fair. That's not the opener.
I got to disagree with you there. Like, I understand that the reason that we had this theater, it could perform at this point, is in part because of the sacrifices he made. But don't soil our stage with this foolishness.
Yeah, if the family's listening, I'm sorry. I hope you're somewhere still roller skating to Lou Rawls. Come open for me.
All right. Put it on the poll. Was the guy roller skating to Lou Rawls not booed because he marched during the civil rights?
For our rights.
He was like 65.
Because he marched for our rights.
Old.
Okay, but I don't believe that's why that happened. But okay,
no, I mean,
that's where the well drinks were respectful. Just at the roller skating Lou Rawls guy.
There's some respect for age. Like, Dan, you get this.
Okay.
There's some respect for age and experience.
All right. I've got some sports questions for you before you get out of here, and I tell the people, the man of many fathers, buy his book, support the people who support us. Roy Wood is one of the greats who is supporting us, and we appreciate his time and, as I said, his ambitions. But as a Cubs fan, do you want to tell people that that Suzuki is a top 20 hitter in baseball? Like, are you beating your chest about your baseball team because you have a good baseball team?
No, because I want us to be good quietly. And then in October, then we can start playing with pressure. I love the fact that y'all don't cover Suzuki the way that y'all cover everybody else in the league right now. I know he's not your favorite Japanese player. I know there's one in Los Angeles that y'all seem to love a little bit more. But guess who got him in the numbers? Suzuki do, bitch.
Yep, that's right. That's what I was trying to lure out of him. Pacers Thunder, do you have any thoughts there? This is not obviously a series that America is going to embrace for viewership reasons, but it's great basketball. It's fun basketball teams.
If you appreciate basketball, you got to love it. But, I think this is when the NBA needs to, like, when you have a Middle America NBA Finals, this is when the league has to start paying influencers to go to these games. Like, you gotta get Timothy Chalamet and just, hey, would you mind just sitting courtside in Oklahoma on a Tuesday night, please? Because that's where the finals are supposed to be where the casual fans come in. I think that's probably where the league, they'll never admit it, but they're probably behind closed doors going, we need it in New York. But you're going to get a good series. You're going to get a deserving champion. Halliburton has shut up everybody's mouth. Don't know how I feel about the nickname Halliban.
Yeah,
but
it's tough.
But outside of that, I'm fine with the finals. I'm not here to create a whole new debate, but it's that one flies a little too close to freedom and dead veterans and.
Damn, why you ain't ask my man about the Stanley Cup final? It's happening right now. So you asking about basketball?
Baseball. I did ask him about baseball.
Well, the Atlanta Thrashers have a good chance in the Stanley Cup final. As we all know, my favorite NHL team is the Atlanta Thrashers.
The name of the book is The Man of Many Fathers. I want to play this sound for you and get your thoughts on Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, I'm sure your book is not as emotional as this is, as Tom Cruise is about Father's Day.
Also, got to ask, Father's Day is just around the corner. What would an ideal Father's Day look like for you?
Hey, just having fun, man. Making movies, big adventure, having a great time.
Nailed it.
I love it. Don't you ask me no other questions, heifer. I told your ass before we turned the camera on that we're talking about the airplane flips. Ask me about the submarine. Ask me about the sky. That's it. No ad libs. You're getting exactly. Respect to Tom Cruise, who rarely surfaces ever for media. Y'all ain't gonna never get him on the podcast because of behavior like that. That's what you get. Try to trick him. That's discipline.
Put it on the poll, please. Are you ever getting Tom Cruise on the podcast? Because he's so right about that. Tom Cruise ain't ever coming on anybody's podcast.
Just having fun, man.
Just tying up the loop here for
Don't obey.
Shoney's. Roy. Shoney's.
Yeah.
65 restaurants between Shoney's and Captain D's.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Don't fall for it, Dan.
I'm reading here. Shoney's, which operates as Shoney's restaurants and Captain D's
on.
restaurants.
Don't fall for it.
65 restaurants
I
across
got
17
different
states.
information. I've got 900 Shoney's in
Ain't no
28
way.
states, most of them
Not
in
a chance.
Tennessee.
Ain't no way.
I'll fall for it.
No
Tony.
way it's
What's
900
these?
left. No way.
400 in Tennessee? Like, come on, man.
24.
It can't be 900
I'm told
left.
there are 24 in Tennessee.
I'm telling you, Shoney's was the king. They had an amazing breakfast bar, but Saturdays cannot carry a franchise when Applebee's, Chili's, Olive Garden, Outback were all attacking you and coming under $10 a plate for food, and you don't have a liquor license. You were doomed from the jump. And God bless the owners because they were devout Christians and they didn't want to fool with liquor, and that's part of what happened. But you see, Cracker Barrel gave in, didn't it? Cracker Barrel tried to hang on, and then they was like, all right, nah, get the liquor flowing. We about to die.
See what happens? Shoney's.
All of our customers...
Shoney's was
Cracker
balling.
Barrel
They
got
was
too
balling.
many customers that be roller skating.
We can do it. We can play this. We can dance. Shoney's was balling until integration. That's essentially what happened. They let a bunch of other people in the league, and so Shoney's could no longer compete. They couldn't do what everybody else could do.
What is Captain D's?
If I gotta ask you,
Roy, thank you for being on with us. The Man of Many Fathers is the name of the book. It's available now for pre-order at crownpublishing.com. Go to roywoodjr.com.
Yeah, just go to my website. Let's get on. Yeah.
For his latest dates and shows. Thank you, sir. Good seeing you as always.
All right, bro.
I wanted to ask you guys a handful of questions. One, going back to what we were saying before, I still haven't been able to shake off of me Chris Cody shaking his chest and yelling at everybody, we broke them mentally. I don't feel like he should be inserting himself in that breaking the way that he is because he had 3 beers at the concession stand during the game.
4 years season ticket holder.
Territory member.
Been a season ticket holder before Kachuk was here. All right?
Those are bona fides, but you saying we broke them mentally is a bridge too far for me, is what I'm saying. You saying that you had anything to do with Connor McDavid's breaking.
You don't think at Connor McDavid's, someone points in the direction of Chris Cody and says, buddy broke you.
Yeah. If that crowd wasn't there last night, Dan, it would have been a lot tougher for them to have all that momentum. I was there screaming my head off. I annoyed the guy in front of me. When they do this thing, as the players are walking out, they're like, get up, wave your towel, and scream. So what did I do last night? I got up, I waved my towel, and I was like, ah! And I was so lost in the scream that at one point, the guy in front of me, looked back like, dude, and my wife was just
embarrassing.
Like, my wife is standing, for that guy, right? That guy wasn't yelling.
You getting the turnaround look.
What?
That's embarrassing.
Look, guys, we're trying to be Edmonton here. Did you see that barn? That barn is loud. Okay, when they come out, that is the time of the game when we need to be at our loudest. And I wanted to do my part, and the guy in front of me got a little annoyed.
You made Dominique snort from waving your towel.
The announcer's like, get up, wave your towel.
Khaled?
And he goes, here they, no, it's like that deep voice. It's like their intro voice guy. Here they come. And they show Bobrovsky leading us out. And I'm just like, ah!
You got lost in the scream.
And the guy in front of me was just like, what?
Yes.
Dude, a minute of this? You're still screaming?
It wasn't the towel waving that made me snort. It was a couple different things. So Tony's doing the show for me in my ear, which is fantastic. And also, the video room is doing a show for me on the side screen, which is also outstanding. I was trying to listen, but
What happened?
What they are doing to Zaz's face is outstanding.
So Megamind has made an appearance again, and I'm pleased that the video team is amusing Dominique, and it is a lot of forehead. It is a substantive amount of forehead. Zazzle, I didn't realize that the backward caption.
Oh man,
that's not fair. Yo, that's not fair.
It made you blue.
Not doctored at all. The
What
size.
you thinking about?
They just colored
Everything.
Yo, that's bullshit.
That is how you play hockey, though. It is. We can all agree.
Captain D's.
What is Captain D's and what is the real information on Shoney's? Because
Dan, I don't know who told you there was 900 Shoney's
I will
around.
tell you.
That's Shoney's propaganda is what that is, Dan.
Right, you know what?
You shouldn't fall victim to propaganda.
Danny's fired.
No. Yeah. Danny's
Said 900 to me, too.
Danny's not fired, but
there's 55.
No. We're gonna somebody get a camera.
Somewhere in between.
Danny, come on in here, Danny. Danny, don't point.
No.
Danny, come on in here. Stunt Danny, come in here and go to the microphone and stand next to Tony and explain to me. No, don't show me. Don't show me your Shoney's Google search.
Oh, it's AI.
Don't show me. No. Listen to me. Listen to me. You guys cannot give me information in my ear that has not been vetted. That you're allowing Elon Musk's drunk robots to control because you don't know how to do the internet anymore because all of the robots have taken over the searches.
I just searched the same thing, and the AI response for me says 58 locations across 15 states.
Okay, so Tony, I owe you an apology.
Thank you.
Because I should have trusted your research.
You know I'm thorough.
Stunt Danny, explain yourself
Big
here.
moment here. Don't be nervous.
Stunt Danny, you're sitting in for Lewis, whose judgment is very bad.
Don't be nervous when you talk.
Listen, Forbes is a trusted article. I didn't look at the year because it's a tight window. I didn't look at Wikipedia because Wikipedia is worse than AI.
Okay, well, that didn't sound like an apology. It didn't sound like accountability. It didn't sound like anything other
Dominique,
than
we need to
just
teach Danny accountability, too.
Last time I was down here, we had a big conversation about accountability, and everyone at the show, we discussed and we understood what accountability meant. We thought, and now we got to start over. So, Danny, next time you come here,
I owned it.
Hold on.
I owned it.
No.
Can we get back to yesterday?
You had a whole bunch of excuses.
Yesterday, we have a meeting because at one point, Video played the wrong video yesterday. And in our recap meeting after the show, he goes, I'm going to be accountable here. I played the wrong video because multiple people were talking in my ear.
It's true.
This is what I would suggest, Danny. My bad. I got you next time.
That is not
My
the Metal
bad.
Lark way.
I got you next time.
There it is, Danny. I see you, baby.
But this was next time.
Yeah! Oh, that was terrible.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for adding nothing.
Usually you do the full elevator. He bailed on it.
Well, he can't do the full elevator because of the shape of his body. He can't go down any floors because his elevator gets trapped halfway.
Captain D's. Cut to me, guys. He looked at his watch and then midway through, cut to me, guys. Oh no, he's not there.
Danny can't cut to you
Danny does
because
the cuts.
There you go.
It's and then he was like, "Oh,
yeah."
Oh, ow.
Dan, so Captain D's part of the Shoney's brand. There's a couple of them out there, and they're a beautiful, fast casual seafood restaurant. And what I was telling Dominique is that they have a beautiful grilled white fish. They don't say what kind of fish, but we know it's white.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Is there such a thing as a beautiful, fast, casual seafood
And notice how I said fast casual. It's not fast food.
No, listen.
Fast casual. It's good food fast.
I know what you said, but what I'm saying is my fish, I need it to be neither fast nor casual.
White, at least.
No, I have a color.
Hey, it's white, though. Don't worry.
So that's the poll question. Beautiful, fast, casual. Is there such a thing as a beautiful, fast, casual seafood restaurant? Because that's why there are so few Shoney's still existing in America, because everyone knows that you don't want to go fast, casual on the seafood.
So is it 55 or 900?
Well, no, I think we got it right. Thank you. We'll get to the bottom
Not
of
900.
Not Danny at a microphone, not Danny doing the elevator, not Danny talking in my ear with any information gathered from the internet. I think that's the lesson that's learned. And also, not Danny when it comes to accountability unless we stop him in his tracks and Dominique lectures him about it. But the thing I wanted to ask you guys about both the article that Dominique led off the show with in USA Today about the pain that football players play in. When I ask you the question, Game 3, where you feel confident enough to shout at the end of a hockey season, grueling, tired, and Edmonton's been a buzzsaw. You feel the comfort of shouting, we broke them mentally. I want to ask you guys, when it comes to depth in hockey, pain of a season, length of a season, how tired human beings are at this point in the season. Are you not asking Connor McDavid right now to overcome something that comes at you in waves and does not fatigue because of the depth that it has? Do you believe in the idea that the Panthers would have an ability as champions to wear down two players over a series when everyone's tired this time of year, when you're talking about the physical imposition of will over the course of a season and how you would break someone like McDavid mentally if you were actually doing it? Do you believe? I believe the OKC Thunder have the ability to do that to anybody over 7 games. I just saw them do it to the MVP of the league. I saw the MVP of the league change hands because they did something on defense that wore down a tired champion at the end. What I'm asking you about the Panthers is, do they have an advantage over what is now possibly 4 remaining games? Because not only can they wear you down over a game and then wear you down in the third period, Edmonton has been able to overcome that through 2 games, but do they have the ability in a physical sport to actually wear someone down over 7 games where they have an advantage because 2 stars are tired?
I think they do. Looking at the ice time for Connor McDavid last night, they played 20 minutes and 51 seconds. That's defenseman numbers. You don't usually see that out of a forward. He's been out there the entire game, right? And he's going to do that for over a 7-game series. He did that in the last series last year, so he has the stamina and the ability to do that. But the Panthers are going to end up wearing him down. He's going to end up making mistakes, creating turnovers and everything like that. So, yeah, I think they do have the ability to wear down everybody around Connor McDavid, including Connor McDavid himself.
I feel like Gustav Forsling, who's struggled in this playoffs, this series he's been great because he's really the only guy. And nobody can skate with Connor McDavid, but he's by far our best skater. And there were multiple times last night to joke about get in front of him, block him, where Gustav Forsling is affecting Connor McDavid, and he's always out there with him. So Gustav's minutes, I don't think, are crazy, but he's always out there with Connor. So I think Gustav has been a Connor stopper, at least containing Connor so far.
The thing that I want to present to you guys, and in the context of this USA Today article that I want to talk about, the wear of this sport and how injured guys are. I want people to appreciate. I know hockey fans, like the deepest hockey experts, appreciate what I'm about to say. I hope they appreciate what Connor McDavid is being asked to overcome here. You can hate Florida. You can think McDavid a choker. But when I see him spin through Barkov that way, I'm like, wow, that's special. But can it be ground down by 20 men? By 70 lines of we're just going to keep flogging you with a bunch of above average people because our depth is unholy.
Well, and the key is, like Roy mentions, you got Connor McDavid who's on the ice, defenseman type minutes, like 27, 28 minutes a game. He's still on the ice for less than half the game. And I think sometimes that's lost on us, where, yes, he's the best, but he can't be on the ice all the time.
And it's over the course of a particularly long season, a grueling playoff run, an emotionally and physically grueling playoff run. To push through that stuff, I think, is really difficult. And we often do this with basketball players after they lose. We're like, well, what's his injury going to be if he played poorly in a playoff series? We kind of like wave our hand at it as if it's not a big deal, and then you read some of these articles or you read about what it actually feels like, because we get desensitized to these injuries because we hear them so much. Like, go get turf toe. Just forget getting turf toe. Just go ahead and bump into a wall real quick. Just knock knees with somebody and see how you feel. And like the Armstead piece, it was on a podcast that he was being interviewed, and he said after games on Sundays, he could not walk under his own power until Wednesday or Thursday. He never practiced because he could only move in a football-worthy way under painkillers since the 3rd year of his freaking career.
That's the guy we had protecting Tua? Jesus.
I mean, if you look at the Panthers' injuries 3 seasons ago versus Vegas in the Stanley Cup final, Aaron Ekblad played with a broken foot. Eetu Luostarinen played with a broken leg. That's crazy. Matthew Tkachuk broke his sternum on that hit.
Can you imagine, like, I'm sorry to pick on Danny, but Danny can be a symbol for a lot of us. But can you imagine if Danny, who just came in here and blamed the internet for his Shoney's mistake, was in here on a broken foot? Like, you don't need your feet to Google, but we would all give him all the latitude in the world. If Danny was like, hey, 900 restaurants, we'd be like, Danny, he broke his foot yesterday, guys. take it easy on Danny. But if a football player or if a hockey player or if an athlete messes up with a fractured throat, we're like, you can't miss that block. You're out there, aren't you? We say that shit all the time. Like, you're out there, aren't you? His throat was fractured.
That's not Armstead. That was the
Ragnow.
That was the other featured participant in this USA Today story because what these people are doing to overcome things is a bit insane, but it is normalized. I don't know how many of you saw this the other day, but there was a game-winning hit in a Mets game by Francisco Lindor, and they just casually said, "Who's playing with a broken toe?" And I'm like, ooh, that sounds unpleasant to be sliding and doing things with a broken toe. And it also sounds unpleasant to get the painkillers in the feet that you would have to get so that doesn't hurt because you're playing with a broken toe.
I think he's still second with that broken toe. Sliding feet first.
Yeah. And
pushing off.
But fractured throat, did you guys know that was a thing? Were you guys aware that the fractured throat was if I tell you you have a fractured throat, living is not going to be the same after that, correct? That does not heal in a way that then makes it a not fractured throat in a reasonable amount of time.
Now, I am using AI, what Danny used, but I'm reading here that there's really no difference between a fracture and a rupture when it comes to the throat.
Good to know. I'm sure that makes Frank's throat feel better.
I'd go rupture, though. I feel like rupture sounds worse. Like, if I had it, I'd rather say ruptured than fractured.
You made the point that it's something that doesn't go away, which is I coach my son's flag football team, and sometimes I practice around with them. And last Friday, I practiced with them. My hip and my knee still feel terrible. And I'm limping around. I won't let y'all know it. I won't let my son know it, but I feel awful.
When he says chippy game and what those hockey players feel like, just imagine running into the boards 3 times and hitting it with your shoulder. How you'd wake up in the morning.
Let's look into that.
Was starting strong. I love the people who would do the analytics on how a knuckleballer would screw up your hitters the next day. For the preparing for a knuckleball would screw you up the next day as well because you're sitting out there hitting those 45-mile-an-hour butterflies.
There's nothing that I hated more, like growing up watching the Marlins, than when Jamie Moyer was coming to play against them. And I don't even remember if he was a knuckleballer or if he could just only hit 75.
It was just slop.
He could only hit
he
like
was not a knuckleballer.
72.
He was just old, and he threw croutons up
Anytime
there
was a knuckleballer or just an old man that could throw the ball really slow, I knew, like, this team can only hit fastballs, and this is going to be a long day and a long week because they're not going to be able to figure it out.
And it's frustrating because you're just seeing these meatballs go over the plate. You're like, how can you not deal with this? This is so slow. Hit the baseball. And yet, Jamie Moyer had a 20-year career. He was 40. He was still pitching.
What is the ruling of the committee? Stugotz is nominated. I need some sort of formal ruling from the committee. He has nominated Joe Musgrove. Billy is passionately against. Chris, are you willing to give him horse status because horse status is before ace? Horse is not an ace.
Chris, before you answer, I have good news on the knuckleballer front. There is still one remaining. Mickey Janis of the Orioles is still throwing it.
Okay? The worst team in the league.
He's still out there, though, keeping the species alive.
It also
will not
seems
go
though
extinct.
Mickey Janis has only pitched 1 game in 2021.
Oh.
In Major League Baseball.
He's still trying.
Still breath in my lungs.
Yeah.
He is currently with the Chicago Dogs of the American Association of Professional Baseball, which I don't think is in Major League Baseball. So
it is extinct.
So it is extinct for now, yeah.
But extinct in the majors doesn't make it extinct as a species.
Yeah, exactly.
This may surprise you, Dan, but there are only 33 pitchers who have ever thrown a knuckleball in a Major League game, according to Wikipedia. Which I was surprised how small that number was.
I don't think that's wrong, Billy. Why would you think that's wrong?
That's wrong.
Let's all name knuckleballers we can think of and see if
Well,
they're
no,
on
we'd
there.
never come up with 33 of them. 33 sounds about right to me. It's a terrifying way to make a living. Imagine all these guys. They're just failed pitchers who developed some other.
Whoa.
Failed pitcher.
Someone with like a 15, 20-year career is a failed pitcher?
Well, Jimmy
Whoa.
Moyer is not a knuckleballer. You made him a knuckleballer just because he throws
Tim
soft.
Wakefield pitched, yeah, across decades.
There are a couple of guys who are exceptions, but largely the knuckleballer is a novelty freak who comes out, and it is hard to make a living that way.
Jeez.
Freak, what are you
I don't
doing?
like how you're describing these things.
Right?
Rude.
Is it Phil Niekro in the Hall of Fame? I mean,
is he? I don't think so.
You don't think so?
He is in the Hall of Fame.
319 wins.
There are 4 knuckleballers.
What was his career?
What's your standard for the Hall of Fame?
No,
He
that's
also
my,
had
that's my bad.
274 losses.
No, that's my bad. He just pitched forever, and I should know that.
Nickname Nuxie.
Compiler.
If you get, that is a classic compiler right there. Phil
Dangerous
Niekro in
nickname.
the Hall of Fame with 300 wins and 280 losses.
Jesus, he pitched for 24 years.
He had a-
started 716 games.
He had a 3.35 ERA. I mean, that's legit good.
He pitched in Major League Baseball until he was
It's not?
48.
You're right, Stugotz. I stand corrected. It is my bad. I should have known. I think of Phil and Joe Niekro as the same kind of pitchers, and they are not. Joe Niekro was not a Hall of Famer, and Phil Niekro was. But go ahead and Google image search Phil Niekro so you could see. Please enjoy. I want you visually to enjoy what he looked like in a Braves uniform. And you tell me if that is a baseball Hall of Famer, the way that you look at bodies today.
It's like Christopher Lloyd.
You need.
He does.
He looks like
Doc
Gary.
Brown.
He looks like Gary Busey in that movie with Henry Rowan Gardner. What was it? Rookie of the Year.
He looks like a bit. Also, Gaylord Perry looked like this too. The old pitcher in the movie Major League, the old slop ball thrower. He's just an old man on the mound, is what he is. Jessica, what is your opinion here?
He looks like
That is
a
not
retired
him.
chemistry
Wait a minute.
professor.
Yes,
That's him when he's still playing?
His hair is so long, and I think it's coming out of his ears.
He's wearing a polo under that shirt.
Listen to
That
me.
can't be right.
This is what.
He looks like Uncle Dick.
Listen, when you could throw the
Yeah.
knuckleball
Uncle
the way
Dick got a
Phil
hole in
did,
one.
He does look like
right?
a
He
Cody.
did. You could pitch
It's the
forever.
ear hair.
Yeah.
Greg Cody's Back in My Day, featuring in-flight magazines.
In-flight magazines. Slayed the pandemic. Traveling again. Big bird up. But something's different. I look in the seat pocket in front of me, and all I see is that cardboard pamphlet about the plane that nobody reads, the drink menu nobody needs, and the barf bag. Where's my in-flight magazine? Where did it go? Joni was right. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot, and then stole my in-flight magazine. These staples of Americana predated even Greg Cody. Pan Am Airways published the first IFM in 1940. Now the high-flying mags are disappearing like donuts in a press box. Southwest Rag, augustly called simply The Magazine, is gone now. Delta Sky, gone. American Way, gone. Retired after 55 years. Alaska and Emirates Airlines, too, gone. Airline magazines falling from the sky one by one. Some others, like United Hemispheres, are now digital only. Blame the pandemic. COVID killed the in-flight magazine, or rather gave airlines an excuse to make a cutback like businesses did with remote meetings where the office buildings used to be. But more than that is to blame. The digital era stampeded the helpless handheld mag. In-flight entertainment and mobile browsing happened. Airlines have even claimed noble reasons for discontinuing their magazines, like how removing all of them makes planes lighter, which saves on fuel. Sounds like malarkey. Hurtling cabins once were full of rattling newspaper pages held wide. Then those disappeared, and then I was the last flyer still leafing through an in-flight magazine while everybody else was softly chuckling at a movie or listening to music with earbuds. I miss every bit of the airline magazine, the greeting from the airline president, the Penn and Teller at the Rio ad, the dating and hair restoration ads, and the one inviting me to invest in a home care franchise. things to do in Minneapolis, the list of top 10 steakhouses and America's best plastic surgeons, the crossword puzzle inevitably half-finished and poorly by a previous seat occupant. Oh, and the feature story on Southwest Customer Service Agent of the Month. You can't get that anywhere else. Most of all, I miss, anybody else remember Sky Mall? Oh, my
Yes.
gosh. It was Amazon before Amazon, only at 30,000 feet. Talk about built-in marketing. Bored flyers stuck in a cabin for 3 hours slamming cocktails are liable to buy anything, which Sky Mall offered. I'll never forget the time, after 3 or 4 deep eddies, I accidentally bought a life-size Bigfoot garden gnome for $2,250. Airlines, I will gladly pay extra if the bag I check is a pound too heavy. I'll put up with your cancellations, and with a hot meal being replaced by a 1-ounce bag of pretzels. Just please, give me back my in-flight magazine. See, I never played that Sudoku puzzle, but I sure did like knowing it was there. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
The game has changed. Weed is legal now with Stugotz and Greg Cody.
I'll tell a story if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
When I first took the first edible I ever took was in New York, and at the time I was breaking the law. Okay, so now you can feel good about telling your story. And the guy told me, "Hey, just eat half of this." And so I ate half, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I didn't feel anything. And he begged me just to eat half. And he did say on the front end it might take a while. But I was impatient.
Right.
Because when you smoke marijuana, you get instant gratification. And waiting an hour or two for something to kick in was not something I was familiar with.
Right.
So I ate another half, which became a full cookie. And 60 minutes later, I don't remember anything. I woke up the next morning on the floor in my wife's uncle's apartment because Abby had to throw me into a cab with her, and she took me home. And I was curled up in the fetal position, and I don't remember a thing after the second half of that cookie.
Wow.
This was last Wednesday. So, with that being said, feel free to share your story of you having 4 cookies in Colorado.
Yeah, I wolfed them down. It was 3 or 4. I didn't know
3
how.
or 4?
Yeah, I
You
wolfed
don't
them
ask?
down.
You don't
Well,
say, "Hey, person I'm purchasing this from, how fast should I do these?"
The guy at the thing, and it was one of those official things where you're, they dress like pharmacists in there, and they sold me a vial of edible cookies, and it was in Colorado, so it's 100% legal. And my wife and I are getting ready to go to dinner. We popped open the thing. She had a nibble of one, and I ate, I think, probably 2 or 3, and it hit me by the time we got to that restaurant.
I just love how terrified you are of this conversation. You keep throwing in there like it's perfectly legal what I did.
To be fair to Greg, this has not exactly been, the most up and up thing to talk about for 60 years of his life.
Right, exactly.
This is a fairly recent phenomenon. We just go, oh yeah, everything's fine now.
No, and I don't, we did that because we were vacationing in Colorado, and I wanted to
Stop giving qualifiers.
I have to give a
Greg,
qualifier.
Greg, more qualifiers.
It feels better when you're doing it legally. It
Right,
does.
I'm
I
gonna.
understand.
I don't smoke anymore. I mean, I don't do that. I did in
Totally
college.
lying, trying to make them feel better. I mean,
Thank you. Thanks for that.
getting away with it was much more fun. I mean, seriously.
I had my day doing that. So
We used to get dime bags at a place in Hillside, Queens. It was called the Tie Door. Oh, was it fantastic? You never saw the guy. You just saw his hand. You would see his
Like
hand.
a first touch in a marriage?
Yeah, you would open up this little sliding door in Hillside, Queens. You would see his hand. He would see your hand. You'd never see each other. He'd put weed in your hand. You would put money in his hand, and that was it. That was a transaction. It was great. Called the
And
Tie
about
Door.
Weed first, then money?
Money first.
Oh, there
Well,
you go.
it was like you would do it at the same time, but occasionally.
So you'd see both hands.
Yes, correct.
Once every 6 months, you'd hear stories of like some guy sticking his hand and then getting arrested on the spot. The cuffs right on the wrist. That's all you see, the wrist, and then.
I always wondered, is today going to be the day? because I went every day. And it wasn't far from my house. But is today the day that it's going to be a cop on the other side of that door? I did. I feared that every single day. But it didn't stop me from going out there every single day. Hop, skip, and a jump.
Is that fear worth it?
Yes. The fear is what made it. Greg's right. Now you walk in, they're dressed like they're experts,
Right.
pharmacists.
Yeah.
It made me a little nervous. More nervous than meeting a guy at a tie door, never seeing him, just exchanging things in our hands.
That's right.
What happened to you after eating 3 or 4? Like, can you?
Back to you.
Yeah.
Oh, we went to a restaurant and, spent $300 on appetizers. And
Hell yeah.
And I remember, I'm not a fast talker. If anything, I'm a slow, deliberate talker who says a lot of ums and ahs.
Right.
My wife at that restaurant accused me of speed talking, of talking faster than I ever had in my entire life, which I wasn't even conscious of. So yeah, it hit me very hard.
All right.
Enjoyable though. I have no idea what I ordered for my main course.
3 or 4 though, man.
Yeah.
Are you sure you didn't do cocaine?
No, they were edible.
I've never had
cookies.
someone really high and be like, "This, you shut up, dude."
I know. Believe me, that was new to me too. Because normally you're talking like a 1970s, rock DJ.
Or is it possible that life had slowed down so much for your wife that by
It
comparison,
seemed like you were
you were
Right.
talking normally, but to her you were talking at an incredibly fast rate of speed.
That's possible. That's a possibility.
Oh
That's a
my
good point.
God.
Did the waiter walk up and you're like, "I ate edibles," because you're just like terrified?
No. Believe me.
It's legal here. I'm on vacation.
Believe me, I'm sure he sensed it. Working.
Join us in the cheap seats tomorrow night. Dan and the Kid Miro are watching Game 3 of the NBA Finals presented by Remy Martin. Catch the live stream starting at 8 p.m. on the Le Batard Show YouTube channel.
Looking forward to that one because I don't know how many of you guys are going to be involved with that. I don't know who's coming, but tomorrow night, I think this was scheduled back when we thought it was going to be Knicks. I'm assuming that was where it is that we got the Kid Mero from. I'm assuming we didn't do
Huge
this,
Pacer fan, Dan. What are you talking about?
So
I'm talking about you.
We will hate watch. Yes, that's right. We will hate watch the finals with the Kid Mero. I'm assuming he doesn't want to watch that with us anymore. I thought he was signing up for something else. We will do that tomorrow night, and we will have an assortment of surprises for you. I wanted to ask the group here, and be careful. You might tell on yourself here. How do you guys feel, and Tony, you're too young for this, but how do you guys feel about the last day of school for the kids?
Oh. I mean, it was always a fun time for me.
No. As a father, Chris, not the last day of school. Everybody, of course, likes the last day of school for them. Everybody likes getting out of school.
I love it because it means traffic will be better.
You enjoyed summer as a kid? That was good?
Yeah.
It was a good time?
I did. That's
what
why
did you think I was
I thought it was a
asking you?
terrible question, honestly.
Wow.
My
God, man.
I mean, I was just like, what did you guys think of summer? I
Tony,
enjoyed it.
Tony, you're too young in your
too young for any sort
It's
of
traffic, Dan. Nowadays, it's traffic
I
will
want
be
to
lighter.
examine what you think I thought. What
Camp
you
better
think,
than school?
What you think
I thought
was
maybe you were
asking.
like, on the last day of school, do you, are you going to do some funny business at the school, pull a prank on something? I don't know. How do you handle the last day? Do you celebrate? Do you?
I'm asking you as a father.
Traffic. Traffic will lighten up.
Spoken like a man with one of them things. Man, last day of school, the contrast between, I appreciate you, Chris, because the last day of school when I was young, so thrilling.
You enjoyed it? That's obvious.
But everyone loves the last day of school. What did you think that I was asking you?
No more homework? Better than homework?
I think, Dan, you probably like school, huh?
I liked the last day of school. I like the freedom of summer, but I also liked school. And he's not totally wrong that every once in a while I'd like to stay for a couple extra days.
But now, the countdown to the last day of school because my kids are at the age now where they're a little old to be sending them to camp, and obviously they're too young to like go get a job or for me to just let them loose on the summer all by themselves. So it's just like asking, can they do things that I'm like, yeah, I want you the hell out of the house, but I also don't want to have to worry about you for the next 6 hours. It's just
That's in the preview, Dominique.
I know it is.
Don't let them distract you with what it is that the video team is doing in the preview.
I know that it's in the preview.
Okay, you can't let them distract you.
Oh, man. That's unfair.
It's much better than me talking about the last day of school.
Ron Magill is now available. Ron Magill's. Oh, let's listen to him. Let's listen. Eavesdrop on his call.
Oh, we can't do that, man.
Okay.
No.
Well, you put him up. It's not my fault. The video team's taking over today. You've allowed them to distract the talent by putting up pictures that are in the preview.
900 Shonies.
Right. We can't get
That's not my fault.
No,
At their peak, did they even have 900 Shonies at their peak?
Roy, accountability. You say it's not your fault. You're in charge. You're in the seat of the executive producer. Accountability. We just eavesdropped on Ron's conversation because he was put up and we heard him yelling at somebody. We've never seen that side of Ron
He's
Magill
like,
before.
I need more photos behind me. That's what he said.
That's what he's yelling.
Ron, take us through some of the pictures behind you of all those television and media celebrities that nobody cares about.
Is that what we're going to talk about today?
Yes. Take us through those pictures behind you. Take any one of the photos off of the wall and take us through
there's Coach Spo right there. And there's LeBron and Udonis Haslem right there. And right below them is Shaq. Right there, Shaq.
Is that Frank Fort I see up there? Like
Frank Fort.
You're giving me a lot of the big names, but I see a lot of small names up on that board. All of your media friends.
Don't insult Frank. You got a lot of people up there. There's there's a lot of good people that I've worked with over the years, and I'm very happy. Well, who are you pointing at now there, Chris?
Local news guy. His name is.
There are 9 of those up there. Local news guy. His name is.
Great teeth.
Yes.
Hold on a second. You're talking about Michael Williams.
There he is.
Oh, Michael Williams looks like television.
Where's Rick Sanchez?
Is Rick Sanchez up there?
Yeah, he's up here. Hold on. I'll get him for you. Hold on. Look.
Okay, let's get.
How do you like that pull, Dano?
That's good. Yes.
Dwight Lauderdale.
That's a never-ending wall of photos right there.
Is Dwight Lauderdale up? Oh, that's quintessential Sanchez. That's young Sanchez. That is up-and-coming Sanchez.
Newsplex Sanchez.
That's a collector's item right there. Dwight Lauderdale.
With the mustache.
Yes.
Do we got an Ann Bishop?
What's Ann Bishop at?
No way Ann Bishop is up there.
He got her.
Yeah. It is a media hall of fame. Look at that. It's autographed. He's got the rarest of collections. The autographed Bishop combined with the Lauderdale mustache, the television mustache.
Hold on a second. I got better.
Don No.
Don No has been requested.
Who else are you requesting?
Don No, the weatherman Don No. I'm sure Brian Norcross is probably up there somewhere.
Brian Norcross is here. Yes, Brian Norcross is here. But wait a minute. I was trying to find someone who used to be a mainstay and then all of a sudden kind of disappeared. Where the heck did I put her? She's here somewhere. Oh, here we go. How many of you guys recognize her?
That's Sally Fitz.
There you go. Sally Fitz.
Roy know that?
What do you mean? How does Roy know that? She's iconic. But I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was Rick Sanchez.
Yeah, but that's young Sally Fitz. I did not recognize her. Sally Fitz was on in this market for what, 30 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. It's a better one. Hold on a second. I got one here for you. Hold on a second.
Bob Soper.
I love this.
This is a great game.
Soper.
It's a great game. Ron just wanders around his office.
Here we go. Here's Bob.
Oh.
Is that Rinnick?
No, he said Bob Soper.
Oh, there you go, Bob Soper.
Who's the best Dan you got on the wall? Got any impressive Dans up there?
I've asked Dan for a picture, but he wouldn't give me one.
Oh my God. Chris Cody just pointed out something that I didn't think that Ron Magill was prepared to answer for. Chris Cody just said, I saw one black guy on that wall.
Marshall?
No, I think it was Dwight Lauderdale.
Yeah, it was Dwight Lauderdale.
There's another one.
In
That
color.
guy.
In color.
In color. The one in
You
color.
ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, Cameron Marshall!
Yes, classic sports newsman Cambrell Marshall, a titan in the industry for 9 years.
No, he's got Jawan Strader there. Jawan Strader.
Oh, it's Calvin
Black man.
That's who
Calvin
I was
Hughes still doing it.
Yes.
That's who I was
Notice he's
pointing.
in color. Everybody else isn't.
Whoa,
Calvin Hughes?
That's offensive.
Be careful.
Picture. Pictures in color.
Hold on.
Picture.
Hold on.
Oh, you may have found one.
Oh, here. How many of you guys are going to remember this guy?
Who he play for?
I don't remember Tom Randall.
Now you're just flexing black guys.
No.
Again, not in
Excuse me
color.
of only having one black guy on the wall.
Wait, that's right. Okay.
I do have to say that whoever the last guy was, first black guy with the shape up there. I respect it. He had a nice sharp line. The rest
Calvin
of those
Hughes?
guys, yeah, he was the first one.
He's still doing it. That's why. He's
So
with the
the
times.
older ones were older. It was
That's why they're in
pre-shape.
black
Okay.
and white. And then the Calvin Hughes in color.
Remember her?
I do not remember. Is that
Maria?
Maria Gennaro? You don't remember?
Oh, did she go to California after that?
Yes, she did. She went to
Ron
Los Angeles.
remembers.
Ron
remembers.
Ron, I'm troubled by the absence of black women on your wall.
How about Dougie Dunbar?
Classic.
Oh, yeah, Doug Dunbar.
Classic.
This is a real trip down memory lane. I'm sorry to the audio audience. I'm sorry to
Here we
anyone
go.
who did not
Look at that.
grow up in South
There
Florida.
Hey, we found one. Yeah.
I gotta
one?
be honest.
No, I got
Don't
more
love
than
it.
one.
Don't love it. Don't
Who
love
else, Dan? What do you want? Ron's got it.
All right.
Jose
Everyone's-
Diaz Blart.
Okay, a baseless accusation of racism against the wall in Ron McGill's office. I retract it.
They were all out of the shot, though.
They were, though. They're not
How does
prominently
it go?
featured. None of them are prominently
Tony
Segredo!
Segredo!
The great Tony Segredo. A classic. One
What's
of the
Jim Barry at?
You will not do better than the mustachioed Dwight Lauderdale paired with the autographed Ann Bishop. That is the highest form of media coupling that you have on your wall.
Is that Michael Jackson?
I think so. I didn't want to say it, but I think
That's
so.
one of his famous stories, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's been dying to tell this one. Here we go.
Oh, there it is.
Here we go.
Michael Jackson. I'm not telling you the story.
Yeah, he's told us a bunch.
I don't want to hear it again. Not interested in that story again.
Anyway, enough of that segment, but I just wanted to let you know that I am I don't.
Nope.
You're famous.
I'm an equal opportunity, everybody.
There we go. Nailed it.
What the hell were you trying to say there, Ron?
Equal opportunity, everybody.
You're equal opportunity, everybody.
When
Did
you understand.
First of all,
you didn't like
you
my
inferred to me,
accusation.
you said you have one black guy up there, you have one black woman up there. I have many, okay? There are many of my friends up there, okay? So you
They
were wrong
weren't
there.
prominent in the shot. All I'm
tried
saying,
to show you,
Ron.
I tried to show you a lot of sports people because you're a sports thing, okay? That's all. That's all.
Roy, I
got people.
Ron,
I got people that are much bigger to me. I mean, to me, like the icons of the world for me. Like, I'm going to show you just one more. The single most important person to me. Hold on.
Is this going to be Don Francisco?
Greg Cody.
Don Francisco. It's got to be Don Francisco. What's the most important
Steve
person?
Irwin.
Does anybody know who that is?
I see you in a reflection.
Yes.
Oh.
We can't see who that is because of the reflection. Who is that? Is that your father?
No, that's not my father. That is the father of nature television. That is Sir David Attenborough.
Oh, that was like 25 years ago.
Used to his
Voice of
voice.
nature.
That's what it is.
The voice of nature, did Planet Earth, did The Frozen Planet, did all those incredible documentaries. The man is a god when it comes to nature television. He is the founder of nature television.
Super white.
Wow. I don't understand this. I don't even understand how that subject comes up. I don't. I really don't.
Hey, Ron, he's just messing with you, man. Just don't fall into Dan's trap. He's trying to get you upset. Just go ahead.
Well, I
and
want to
ride
know
on
why Dan hasn't sent me a picture of him. I have a picture of him and I. I'm going to have.
I don't
him-
want to be
I'll
on your
send it-
racist wall.
Whoa.
I boycott your racist wall.
Can a wall be racist?
Roy, you're not going to say anything. You're not going to
Hey.
say anything, Roy. You're just going to
Why do you have
I'm
to point
sorry.
Roy out?
I'm
Why-
sorry.
Roy, don't throw Roy in the middle of this. Now all of a sudden you want black people on the fringes of your wall, but in the middle of the controversy.
Wow, you're looking serious too, Dan. I mean, you're really going to do that seriously, right? I don't believe you. I can't believe you even.
Are we on live television?
DEI wall over here. We need that.
Don't you have any dumb video you want to show me?
I do actually. Thank you for bringing that up.
Now that you mention it.
Thank you. Yeah, I do. Thank you for doing that. We will get the video department now to play this first. So you tell me what's happening here. Explain everything that you see in front of you, Ron.
Okay. Oh, it's an octopus taking out a shark.
That's a great sentence. A great
There
sentence.
you go.
If that doesn't get you over to YouTube, that is an octopus. I did not know the octopus could do that, Ron.
Oh, yes, they can. You know, an octopus has a tremendously powerful beak, almost like a big parrot, but it's more powerful, and they'll take out anything. An octopus could put a hurting to whatever it decides it wants to eat.
Is this eating it, or is this like engulfing it, like strangling it? It's hard to tell what's even happening here.
I'm sure it's probably eating it. Yeah.
Can you explain, though, what larger than that can an octopus take out? Because I did not know. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did you know that an octopus could take out a shark? Is that too small of a shark? Is that, Tony, are you impressed by this or not impressed by it?
I'm impressed that he can grab it. I think the shark is getting away.
The shark got away.
The shark gets away. The shark gets away.
Ron, who would win underwater if I got like 2 minutes of breath in me? Like me and an octopus.
You do not have 2 minutes of breath in you.
30 seconds of breath.
You ain't got 2 minutes, brother.
I got like 90 seconds.
Aquaman?
2 minutes.
That octopus we just saw. I feel like if that thing comes out to me, I'm just taking it and I'm like stretching it out. I'm just like breaking its arms.
You wouldn't even be able to hold it because it's slime right through your hands. You wouldn't be able to hold it.
You think you would break an octopus apart in pieces?
I think when one of its limbs comes at me, I just grab it and it feels the force that I'm grabbing it. I don't know. And then it
has 7 others.
Yeah, but I
They all
don't
have
know.
their own brains.
Ron, tell me, would I get my ass kicked?
Yeah, now, you wouldn't get your ass kicked by that octopus because that's a fairly small octopus. But if you got a giant octopus, yeah, you could be in serious trouble.
I mean, 2 minutes, we could do that at some point. You called out 2 minutes. We got a coffee for 2 minutes.
Just
2 minutes with an octopus with an overall length of 6 to 7 feet is going to wrap all 8 limbs around you, confine your arms, and you're just going to freaking drown. That's what's going to happen to you.
But wait a minute. Can we go back for a second to the video? The shark got away. Can an octopus take out a shark? Yes or no?
Theoretically, if it wanted to, yes, it could.
But it clearly wants to here, does it not? It seems to want to here.
I don't know. I can't read the octopus's mind. Maybe the octopus is saying, listen, one more time, and you're not going to be so lucky.
Okay.
So go away and don't come back.
All right. Maybe that's what it is.
I'm going to see how long I can hold my breath.
It will not be 2 minutes. And
2 minutes is a long
Someone count me down to start.
No, come on in here. Come on in here
minute,
so
Cody.
we can judge you. Come on in here.
there, okay.
Yes, come in here because I
You
want.
couldn't judge. You couldn't hold your breath for a minute, Cody.
Ooh,
Not even a minute.
Maybe a minute. Maybe.
No, not a minute. I'm telling you, Cody's not going to hold it for a minute.
His father, oddly enough, because we're in reruns, we did this with his father 6 weeks ago, who's had famous asthmatic problems for about, 5 years. And his father was able to hold his breath for a minute. I don't know if that's hereditary or not, but I think Chris Cody will be able to do a minute. 2 minutes, no shot.
I have under 30.
No, he'll make it to like 50 seconds.
15.
No, he will.
No, 50.
No chance.
5-0.
No,
No chance.
he will make it a minute, but he will be surprised by how long a minute feels.
I think Chris Cody is.
No, 2 minutes is there will be no 2 minutes.
Long time.
Chris
If
Cody
he tries to
has
go to-
surprises you guys all the time.
If he makes it to a minute, he's going to look like a tomato.
He's going to look like a tomato, but I got Chris making it to 2 minutes.
Wow.
No, wait, okay.
No.
I got. Can we put something on that?
Oh, yeah, let's
Make
put something
somebody.
on it.
No.
Make sure somebody plugs his nose, holds his nose shut.
he's not a liar.
Everyone thinks he's going to be a cheater. That's why I brought him in here so I can see if
Make
anything.
this money for me,
I have that
Chris.
Greg Cody loud breath. You'll be hearing if I'm breathing.
Oh, yeah.
Let's play another video for Ron.
Let me gather myself here.
And just put Chris in the picture. Start a timer for him. Get ready, and we will all do this together. But for the moment, just put up the next video for Ron to do play-by-play on, please. What's happening here, Ron?
Oh, this elephant is looking in the water. Oh, there's something in the. Oh, it's an antelope. I must help this antelope. Oh no, don't worry, antelope. I'm here just to help you. Just let me rub my trunk around your horns. Let me pull you out. You will not drown. I'm here to save you. Elephants are kind, smart animals. Yes, there you go.
Wow.
There you go, my friend. There you go.
Holy shit! How did you know that? How did you know that elephant was there to help and not hurt?
Because you saw how gently it was using his trunk. If it was going to hurt, it'd be slapping it around like a baseball bat.
Okay. That's not what he was doing. You've seen an elephant do that? Have you seen an elephant use its trunk as a weapon?
Use its trunk to grab something that it then stomps on. Yes.
Let's play another video here for Ron. Chris, you're ready? You're getting ready? And video is getting ready to have the timer with you. Let's play this next
They told
video.
me they want me to have my timer up,
Okay,
so.
you can do your timer. But let's see this next video. Ron, tell us what this is. Is this a fish with legs?
This is some type of fish. I'm not sure what kind it is. It looks like in the Remora family, but I'm not sure what it is. Those dangling things are pretty cool. It's very cool. Listen, I've said it over and over. There's so much about the ocean that I especially don't know, but most of us don't know. And this is one of those very unique fishes that I've never seen before.
It's called a tripod fish, but are those are not functioning legs, are they?
No. Those are modified fins. And I guess they call it a tripod because it seems to kind of isolate itself on top of them there in the bottom of the ocean, or whatever body of water that it's in. I don't know if it's a freshwater fish, or ocean fish, what it is. Unique looking though. Cool. Thanks for sharing it with me.
I'm ready.
All right. Chris Cody
Count me in.
is defying all of you, and it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In the interim, let's play this next video here as we do nature videos with Ron Magill as Chris Cody multitasks with the holding of breath.
The infamous mountain gorilla. These are incredible experiences. This mountain gorilla has grabbed this woman's shirt. The key thing is you don't turn around and stare at it. Do not do that. Do not do that. I told you not to do that. Jesus Christmas. You do not turn around and look at the gorilla. You wait until the gorilla lets go on its own. You turn around and look at it. It'll get even more determined to pull you in. Now watch what happens. She turns around. I said, and then the guy had to come in. The guide had to come in to save her. You don't look at those grand primates like that. You just don't do
You're
it.
40 seconds in, Chris.
Why are they grabbing? To the best of your knowledge, what's the point of the grab?
I was just curious. Hold on one second. I am sorry. I'm still on this interview. I will be done in 2 minutes.
7 seconds
okay?
from a minute.
2 minutes.
5 seconds from a minute. He's going to get to a minute and only a minute.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. Okay.
He's longer than that so far.
He's longer than a minute?
He's breathing, I think.
No way.
I think he was cheating. I think he just blew a bunch of coronavirus in her face.
I mean,
exactly.
You did over a minute.
See that, honey?
You got over a minute.
Respectable.
What are you supposed to do when a gorilla grabs your shirt? Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you know what to do when a gorilla grabs your shirt? What are you supposed to do?
Don't move. You don't look at the gorilla. You just stay in the, if you're not already in it, just get in the fetal position. Do not move. Do not look at the gorilla. Do not face the gorilla.
And that's the worst thing that you can do because the gorilla wasn't going to do anything other than be playful there?
I can't tell you that the gorilla wasn't going to do anything, but when you turn and face and stare at a gorilla, that is interpreted as a threat. That's pretty much with any primate. So you should never look at a primate in the eye like that. Turn around and look at him like that because that becomes a bit of a threat.
Put it on the poll, please. Should you ever look a primate in the eye at Le Batard Show? Ron, it's nice seeing you. Thank you for tolerating all of our nonsense. I hope I get aggregated calling you a racist, and I hope your indignance is taken seriously by all media outlets. Thank you, sir.
And I hope that you send me a signed Dan Le Batard picture. And if you write to Ron, best wishes, Dan, I swear to God, I'll never do it.
I won't. I'm going to be like, I'll write it, but what I'll write is, I will not be on this racist wall unless I'm a centerpiece. I will not on the fringes of your wall where you put the other minorities segregated away from all of the beautiful segredos.
All right, buddy.
The preferred
That's the deal.
white, the preferred whites.
I'm done.
Whites
Peace
on your
out.
wall.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Ron. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Nice seeing your white wall there.
Oh,
white wall.
I think I could have done better.
With Calvin Hughes on the fringes.
There was a lot of pressure on
Big
me
smile on
there.
Calvin.
I didn't get a great breath to start.
A little disappointed.
Minute 20.
We didn't even get close to 2 minutes.
I could do better.
We thought that you were breathing though at the end. We thought that there was
took
some
a little breath at the end.
No, that
Cheater.
was me
He's a
trying to like hold the breath even longer,
I
and then it
know.
just exploded out.
I know, but it is hard
What?
to do. Is it worse to explode out than it is to fracture a testicle or to what was it? What was the other word? you guys?
Rupture.
Rupture. So which is the word? The worst of the verbs is rupture. You guys are saying not fractured.
To me,
A ruptured
yes.
testicle is worse than a fractured testicle.
It feels that way.
I'm not sure it feels that way.
I feel like it feels
feeling
pretty
like,
similar.
I'm feeling like if it ruptures, it's good and it's gone and the pain's gone. Whereas it's fractured, it's throbbing and staying.
Rupture implies explosion.
Yes.
Whereas fracture just implies there's a little slit in it.
Yeah, it sounds like a break as opposed to a tear.
It sounds worse than that. Good deal worse than that. Doesn't sound like a break or a tear. It sounds like you guys are talking about either a fractured testicle or an exploding testicle.
Oh.
Because ruptured is a spot before exploding. Or are they synonyms? We're doing synonyms? It's an exploding testicle? Because I think we'd agree that an exploding testicle is worse than a ruptured testicle is worse than a fractured testicle.
I agree. I'd rather have my testicle rupture than explode.
I mean, I think so. Pull and tear are different terminologies when you're talking about muscles, but they're both essentially like different levels of a tear.
Can you pull a testicle?
I have.
Why can't you?
What did you say?
You heard me.
What's the worst thing to rupture? I'm all in on spleen.
You said you pulled a testicle?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show.
If you could.
Yeah.
Is the worst
Go right
thing
ahead. No
to
one's stopping you.
Is the worst thing to rupture a spleen?
Pulled my right ball.
Can you stop? Can I get you to stop? Stop doing everything that you're doing over there.
I think like there could be another lesson to be learned is like the game is to get very close and make everybody think you're going to say or do the thing, but never actually say ball. That's like the move, right?
Yeah, but subtlety's not a strength.
Sometimes you got to go with it, though.
You don't, though.
You slap them over the head with it.
Sometimes.
Again, though, getting back to the original story that birthed all of this, the fractured throat. Can you guys look up for me what difficulties there would be in playing football with a fractured throat? It sounds like a terrible thing that you would not want to re-injure. One of the things that Dominique and I were talking about during the break, I think this is a strength that Dominique has that most in our profession do not. He can crystallize for you how hard it is to get to the points of excellence where you are stronger than the man willing to play with a fractured throat. Because when we talk about what, I know we do too much with gladiators and whatnot, but for Armstead was, at the draft, the single most impressive physical offensive lineman there's ever been running and jumping. His speed at his size was not precedented in the history of the draft. He's a little undersized for an offensive lineman, but what I know about him is that no one can get around him. And the second thing I know about him is that he might not play this Sunday. And obviously he won't play this Sunday because there's no football, and he's not going to play any more Sundays because he's retired. But every week for the last 5 years of his career, it was always, that guy's not going to practice. That's a game time decision, and they need him. And if he can only do it at Sunday for 3 hours, they're going to take that body and they're going to shoot it up with whatever gets through those 3 hours. Dominique speaks better than most on the idea of what it takes to get to that kind of excellence in that sport. And when you read that article, were you surprised by what it is the pain was?
I was absolutely surprised but reminded. And I think that this is what was blowing my mind is as I kept yelling fractured throat and looking into the room, I didn't see anybody as stunned as me. I was very confused by it. I was like, no, guys, but like his throat was fractured. And yelling about Armstead not being able to walk till Wednesday or Thursday after Sunday game. And he never played a full 16-game season, and that's why. I get it, because in his third season, and he played 12 years total, his third season, he had a knee injury that inhibited him from practicing again without painkillers. And I think one of the things that I've noticed is, like, obviously there's some genetic factors that make it so, and we see every time we watch the NFL or NBA draft, there are last names that you recognize, and there are factors physically that allow people to excel in certain sports. But the mental and emotional stuff is the stuff that I think I find most interesting, because it is really, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday with the emergence of those tennis pros. It's a place that you have to go to or have the ability to go to mentally sometimes that I don't think many of us are familiar with. And then to be even greater than the greatest, that's how you differentiate. And I think we talk about, or at least I talk about, the people who make it to professional sports. I think it's from a very small pool of people that are physically capable of doing those things. But then that's the part that I think you find interesting most, Dan, and I do too, is like, what is the difference between all of those people who want the very same thing being able to answer every question and every test to the degree, while not only are you trying to overcome something very difficult? Someone else right next to you is trying to stop you from doing it. It's amazing to me, even though I did it at one point, I guess.
Well, the thing that I find most fascinating about the sociology of sports here is over the entirety of the world, war-torn countries in basketball, inner cities in basketball and football in America, you have fighting for status, power, respect, and money, fame, everybody who is the most competitive in the world fighting for the same pot of dollars. Physically, a certain number of people can get that high. But when we're at microphones asking these people to be tougher, I'm telling you that next top 1% of top 1%, those aren't physical gifts that get people there. There are a number of people who have those physical gifts, but there's nobody at the top of that that's throwing it away. And when you guys ask those people to be tougher, I'm like, how much tougher would you like them to be? I understand why you make this assessment of Karl Anthony Towns, but do you understand that that's not just because he was born 7 feet and can shoot from 3, that's as good as that is? Like, that can't. No one gets to that level of high unless they are some semblance of tough that we don't probably understand.
But the Dolphins' offensive line is so much better when Armstead plays.
So toughen up and get out there and play. I mean, Dan brought this up as an area that we should explore because he and I find it interesting. But I know y'all don't give a shit. I know you just want your games, but I do find it interesting. And to your point, Dan, I think that there's a level to make it to that's really difficult. Then there's a higher level to make it to that requires you to like push yourself past some really challenging things, which is fun. But I do recognize ultimately it's entertainment, and the way that people talk about entertainment is like the same way you would talk about a movie that someone spent years raising money for and writing and filming and acting, and they were like, I want my 90 minutes back. That movie sucked. It's the same way. It's the exact same thing. And I know that to be true, which is why it's not an area I often go down, but I do find it interesting. But I know they don't care.
No, but this is
looking
the
at
thing.
Those faces.
I know it's more fun to just talk about the fighting last night and your team being better and we mentally broke them. But I'm actually interested in, and I don't think you can dissuade me of this. When Mike Ryan loves to say someone's banged up this time of year, when none of us would come to work if we felt like whatever banged up was for those guys. Clearly, Draisaitl was hurt last year, obviously. When I ask in that sport Connor McDavid to overcome 4 lines of people who want it as badly as he does, I don't think most people watching actually know what it takes. And to me, that's the most interesting part. Like, whatever the results are, those can happen with process and bounces. The most interesting part is, how did the toughest people actually get to winning beyond the luck? How did they get to be stronger than the other person who I know to also be strong? That's why I think this thing is so interesting as a view. These are heavyweights fighting, and Connor McDavid wants his immortality. He's willing to play the human limits of the body in that sport, but can only be out there half the time. And what happens when the waves come at you when you're not out there? Can he be good enough in half the time out there than all of them are in all the time they're out there? And it just makes it really hard when you're asking him to overcome that. And don't tell us about your injuries. Also, don't tell us you're hurt. Because this guy played with a broken leg. Get out of here. How could you play with a broken leg in hockey? One of the most famous goals ever scored in hockey was scored on a broken leg.
But it's all relative. It's all relative, which is why I understand that the point that we're making is that these people are tougher than us and they're tougher than everybody. But in that community, there are people that are even tougher than them. And we're looking for those guys. And in order to exalt those guys, you got to point out that the other guys aren't as tough. And it's not fun to do, but you kind of, what are you going to say?
Is it true, though? Like,
it is true. It is true. that there are people, there were people, I was tougher than people to get there. And then there were people who were tougher than me. I freaking saw it, Dan. There were people who were I was willing to do some absurd things. In my contract year, I was in Atlanta. I got hit on a crackback block by Eddie Royal and right in the chest. I got up.
Little Eddie Royal?
Yeah. Little Eddie Royal. So,
cute little, adorable little Eddie Royal.
Think
little
about
speedster.
it. Yeah, think about it.
Tiniest guy on the field.
Jay Cutler. So it was the team. It was the Broncos. The Broncos traded me before my contract year to Atlanta. We're playing against the Broncos down in Atlanta. Jay Cutler. So this is my teammates. I went to training camp with them. I played at that place for 3 years. Jay Cutler scrambles to the right and then scrambles to the left. I go to the left with him, then he comes back to the right. As I'm coming back, Eddie Royal dives through my chest. And I thanked him after the game because he didn't hit me in the head because it was legal back then. I got up from that play and started coughing and spitting out blood. And then I started to walk in the direction of the sideline because this ain't normal. And then it hit me. Nah, bruh, it's a contract year. Lined up and played the next play. And there are people who have done much more absurd things than that because I wasn't even that good.
That's so sexy. It is. It is.
Then I grounded into the turf there.
And that was Eddie Royal that laid that hit. Like that's wild. Like,
well, when he says there are people tougher than me, this part I'll never understand, and it's not mythology. People say it's so. Ray Lewis, when he hit you, it hurt more. I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand what would have to be happening in the human body that would make him be someone who's hurting other people who know what hurt feels like more than they're usually hurting.
I'll tell you this about Ray Lewis. So I remember being in high school and looking around at my teammates and being like I loved them and they did the best they could, but looking around at them and being like, these guys, they ain't got it. They're not going to fight through, whatever. Then in college, there were fewer of them, but there were still guys, and I was still, among the top. All right, yeah, they ain't got it. They don't care about this as much as I do. I get to the NFL, and there are fewer people that I recognize are like that. And I look, there's a couple people that are care more than I do. I eventually finally get, in my 5th year, get to the Ravens, and Ed Reed and Ray Lewis specifically is towards the end of his career. And I've told this story before, we had a pretty much nothing game on a Thursday night in Cleveland. And I showed up there all right, let's go out there and whoop these bums and get on with our business. And he cares more than me. We're in the tunnel, and I'm thinking about let's get this job done so we can get back home. And he's in the tunnel talking to himself with tears welling up in his eyes after already having won the Super Bowl, established himself as probably one of the best linebackers ever, a random Thursday night game. He's like, no, this means something to me. This means something to the city of Baltimore. It means something to my family. It means something to everyone. And I'm like, but what about all these millions of people who I was tougher than and I cared more than? And I'm looking at you like, I don't care. I should. I wish I did. But I don't care like you care.
Well, keep in mind, with the Florida Panthers, not only are they playing through injury, I mean, this is their 3rd Stanley Cup final. They played an extra season worth of postseason games.
Well, but see, this is the part that I really don't know what it costs when I ask Dominique or anybody, hey, the Miami Heat of LeBron blew up after 4 years. Kevin Durant, that whole thing, 4 years. Jokic, tires came off at the end, 4 years. Celtics, Tatum blows up 4 years. It's hard. It's difficult at the top of stress.
You remember the Ed Reed, I'm hurt dog speech. That stuff is real. And to your point, on top of the physical strain and on top of the pressure on each of you depending on each other, because all that stuff matters to your livelihood and everything that you've hoped and dreamed of, there are millions of people watching and criticizing everything you do. You can't leave. You can't walk out your house. You can't open your phone without hearing someone have something to say about what you have done. And then you go back into the locker room and you look across at these people and you want everybody to care as much as you care, but some of them don't.
Did Ray know you were just playing the Browns?